Tonight, you do not need to fix everything. You do not need to carry the weight of the entire world on your shoulders anymore. Not for the next few moments, not while you are here with this gentle voice, breathing softly in the darkness, allowing yourself to finally rest. And as you settle in tonight, something beautiful begins to happen inside you. Your racing thoughts begin to slow, your nervous system begins to soften, and the deep healing your mind and body have been craving for so long quietly begins. So before you fall asleep tonight, give yourself permission to let go. Let go of the pressure, let go of the exhaustion, let go of the invisible tension you have been carrying through every conversation, every responsibility, every silent moment where you pretended to be okay. Because tonight is not about surviving, tonight is about healing. And while you sleep, your subconscious mind will begin absorbing calm, safety, peace, confidence, emotional balance, and deep inner restoration in the most natural and effortless way. You do not have to force anything. Your mind already knows how to heal, just like your body knows how to breathe, just like your heart knows how to beat, even while you sleep. So as this meditation gently guides you deeper and deeper into rest, imagine every word becoming softer inside your mind, like warm rain falling over tired earth, soothing every hidden part of you that has been overwhelmed for far too long. There is nothing to achieve right now, nothing to prove, no one to impress, only this moment, only this breath, only this gentle journey into deep sleep healing. And maybe, without even realizing it, tonight becomes the night everything begins to change. Not through force, not through struggle, but through rest. Because real transformation does not always happen in loud moments. Sometimes the deepest healing happens quietly, in darkness, while the world sleeps. So if you are listening to this right now, I want you to know something important. Your mind is not broken, your heart is not too damaged to heal, and your soul has not forgotten how to feel peace. You are simply tired, tired from overthinking, tired from carrying emotional weight, tired from trying to stay strong all the time, tired from living in survival mode for so long that true rest started feeling unfamiliar. But tonight, you can stop running. Tonight, your body can unclench, your breathing can deepen, your thoughts can drift farther away with every passing moment, and as your eyes grow heavier, your subconscious mind becomes more open, more receptive, more ready to receive healing energy, calming suggestions, and peaceful emotional release. So while you rest tonight, your mind will begin clearing away old stress patterns. Your body will begin releasing tension stored deep within your muscles, and your heart will begin remembering what safety feels like again. You may even notice, sometime later, perhaps tomorrow, or sometime this week, that you feel lighter, calmer, more emotionally balanced, less reactive, more present, more connected to yourself. Because healing does not always arrive dramatically. Sometimes it arrives quietly, one peaceful night at a time. And tonight, you are giving yourself that gift, a gift that so many people deny themselves: deep rest, true rest, healing rest. So now allow the outside world to slowly fade into the distance. The noise, the stress, the pressure, the endless thinking, none of it matters right now. Right now, your only job is to listen, breathe, and slowly drift. Imagine your thoughts becoming softer and farther away, like clouds slowly moving across a peaceful midnight sky. There is nowhere else you need to be, no problem you need to solve tonight. Everything can wait until morning, and the more you let go, the safer your body begins to feel, because your nervous system responds to gentleness, to calm, to slow breathing, to stillness. So take a long, slow, gentle breath in and softly let it go. Again, breathing in peace and breathing out all the heaviness you no longer need to carry. Feel the bed beneath you supporting your body completely. You are held, you are safe, you are allowed to rest deeply tonight. And with every minute that passes, your subconscious mind sinks deeper into comfort, deeper into healing, deeper into restorative sleep. Every word you hear now begins settling gently into the deeper layers of your mind. You are safe to relax, safe to let go, safe to sleep deeply, safe to heal, and as your conscious mind slowly becomes quieter, your inner world begins transforming in beautiful ways. Stress begins dissolving, mental noise begins fading, emotional wounds begin softening, your mind begins creating new pathways, calmer pathways, healthier pathways, peaceful pathways, because the brain changes while you sleep, healing happens while you sleep, emotional restoration happens while you sleep, and tonight, your entire system is being guided gently back into balance. No effort needed, no struggle required, only surrender, only softness, only rest. So imagine now a warm, calming light slowly surrounding your entire body. Soft golden light, peaceful light, healing light. It wraps around your head, calming your thoughts, around your shoulders, releasing pressure around your chest, easing emotional tension around your stomach, soothing anxiety down your legs, relaxing every muscle completely. And as this warm healing energy moves through you, your body responds instantly. Your jaw softens, your forehead relaxes, your breathing slows naturally, your heartbeat becomes calm and steady. You are entering a deeper state now, a state where healing becomes effortless, a state where sleep comes naturally, a state where your subconscious mind can finally rest, reset, and renew itself. And perhaps part of you is already beginning to drift, already beginning to float between wakefulness and sleep, that peaceful in-between space where your mind becomes quiet and your inner healing becomes stronger. Stay here. There is nothing else you need to do, nothing else you need to think about. Just continue listening, softly, gently, allowing the sound of this voice to carry you deeper and deeper into complete relaxation. And tonight, while you sleep, your mind will begin transforming. Old stress patterns will fade. Heavy emotional energy will release. Calmness will grow stronger. Self-worth will grow stronger. Inner peace will grow stronger. You will begin waking up feeling clearer, lighter, calmer, and more emotionally grounded. Not because you forced yourself to change, but because you finally allowed yourself to rest, and that changes everything. So now, as your body becomes heavier and your mind becomes quieter, simply continue drifting deeper into this healing night, deeper into softness, deeper into stillness, deeper into peaceful sleep. And let this be the night your healing truly begins. The outside world is beginning to grow quieter now, and for the next little while, nothing else is required from you. You do not need to answer anyone. You do not need to solve anything tonight. You do not need to carry the emotional weight of the entire day any longer. Right now, all you need to do is listen, and as you listen to the sound of this gentle voice, something inside you can finally begin slowing down, because your mind has been moving for so long, from one thought to another, one responsibility to another, one worry into the next. Even when your body tried to rest, your thoughts kept running, kept replaying conversations, kept imagining worst-case scenarios, kept searching for answers, solutions, control. And after a while, that constant mental movement becomes exhausting, not only emotionally, but physically too, because the mind and body are deeply connected. When the mind races, the body tightens. When stress builds, the nervous system stays alert. And when the nervous system never fully relaxes, true rest begins to feel distant. But tonight, something different is happening. Tonight, there is nowhere to rush to, No pressure to keep performing. No need to hold yourself together so tightly anymore. Tonight, you are allowed to slow down, and perhaps even as you hear these words, you can already notice a subtle shift beginning inside you. Maybe your breathing has softened slightly. Maybe your shoulders have relaxed a little more. Maybe your thoughts already feel less sharp, less urgent, less demanding. That is because your body responds to safety, and calmness, especially gentle calmness, tells the nervous system that it no longer has to stay in survival mode. So now, slowly, gently, take a deeper breath in and softly let it go. Very good. Again, breathing in slowly, peacefully, and breathing out all the tension you no longer need to carry tonight. Feel the bed beneath you supporting your entire body. You do not have to hold yourself up anymore. You are supported. You are safe. And as your body begins feeling safer, your mind also begins loosening its grip on the day. Thoughts begin drifting farther apart. The noise inside your head starts becoming quieter, and without trying to force stillness, you naturally begin moving toward it. That is the beautiful thing about rest. Real rest cannot be forced. The harder we try to sleep, the more awake we sometimes become. But softness, surrender, and gentleness invite sleep naturally. So tonight, there is nothing you need to force. You do not need to force calmness. You do not need to force healing. You do not need to force sleep. You only need to allow the thoughts to slow, allow the body to soften, allow yourself to stop carrying everything for a little while. And as your breathing continues settling into a slower rhythm, imagine your thoughts like clouds moving across a dark, peaceful sky. You do not need to chase them. You do not need to fight them. You can simply notice them and let them drift away. Another thought comes, and then slowly fades. Another memory appears, and then quietly disappears into the distance. Everything is becoming softer now, even the noise inside your mind, especially the noise inside your mind. And perhaps there is a part of you that has been deeply craving this moment, a moment where nothing is expected from you, no pressure to achieve, no pressure to stay strong, no pressure to pretend you are not tired, because sometimes the deepest exhaustion is invisible. People may see your smile, while never noticing the emotional weight underneath it. They may hear you say, "I'm fine," while never hearing the stress hidden behind those words. But your body knows, your nervous system knows, your mind knows how much you have been carrying, and tonight, your entire system is finally being given permission to rest. So slowly now, bring your awareness to your forehead. Notice if there is any tension there, any tightness, any holding, and without effort, simply allow those muscles to soften. Feel the space around your eyes relaxing, your jaw loosening, your cheeks softening. Very good. Now feel that relaxation slowly moving downward into your neck, your shoulders, releasing the pressure you may not have even realized you were carrying, as though the weight of the entire day is slowly sliding off your body. Your arms relax, your hands become heavy, your chest softens, and your breathing continues becoming slower, calmer, deeper. You are doing nothing wrong tonight by resting. You are not falling behind by slowing down. You are not weak for needing peace. Rest is not weakness. Rest is healing, and your mind needs healing just as much as your body does, because mental exhaustion can quietly build over time. One stressful day becomes another. One sleepless night becomes another. One anxious thought becomes hundreds more, until eventually the mind forgets how to be still. But stillness is returning now, little by little, breath by breath, word by word. You are remembering what peace feels like again, and perhaps as you continue listening, the thoughts inside your head already feel farther away than they did a few moments ago. That is because your attention is no longer feeding the stress. Instead, You are feeding calmness. You are feeding safety. You are feeding softness. And the subconscious mind responds powerfully to repetition. The more calmness you experience, the more natural calmness begins to feel, the more peace you allow, the more your mind learns that peace is safe. So tonight, your brain is learning something new. It is learning that it does not always have to stay alert. It is learning that rest is safe, that silence is safe, that slowing down is safe. And the deeper your body understands this, the heavier your eyelids begin to feel, the slower your thoughts begin moving, the farther away the outside world begins drifting. Soon, all that remains is this peaceful moment, this gentle voice, and the soothing rhythm of your breathing. Now imagine yourself standing beside a calm lake late at night. The water is perfectly still, the air is cool and soft, the moonlight reflects gently across the surface of the water, creating a peaceful silver glow. Everything feels quiet here, safe here, still here. And as you look out across the calm water, you realize something. The lake becomes still naturally when the wind stops pushing against it, and your mind works the same way. When pressure slows down, when stress softens, when you stop fighting yourself, your mind naturally becomes calmer too, not instantly, not forcefully, but gently, gradually, naturally. So now, imagine every breath calming the inner winds inside your mind, every exhale smoothing the surface of your thoughts, every moment of listening guiding you deeper into stillness. And perhaps part of you is already beginning to drift now, thoughts becoming softer, awareness becoming hazy, your body becoming heavier against the bed. That is good. You do not need to stay fully focused anymore. You do not need to analyze these words. Your subconscious mind is already listening, already absorbing calmness, already moving toward healing. And while you continue drifting deeper tonight, your mind can finally stop trying to solve everything all at once, because not everything needs to be figured out tonight. Some things can wait until morning. Some things do not deserve your energy anymore, and some thoughts are only loud because your nervous system has been overwhelmed for too long. But overwhelm is fading now, slowly, quietly, gently, like darkness fading before sunrise. And the more relaxed your body becomes, the more your thoughts lose their intensity. What once felt urgent now feels distant. What once felt heavy now feels softer. What once demanded your attention slowly dissolves into the background, because calmness changes perspective. Rest changes perspective. When the mind is exhausted, everything feels bigger than it truly is. But when the nervous system relaxes, clarity begins returning naturally. So tonight, you are not only falling asleep, you are recovering emotionally, mentally, energetically, and every slow breath continues guiding you deeper into that recovery, breathing in softness and breathing out tension, breathing in peace and breathing out overthinking, breathing in safety and breathing out emotional exhaustion. Very good. Now feel your entire body sinking more deeply into comfort, your legs becoming heavier, your arms completely relaxed, your chest moving slowly with each peaceful breath, and your mind becoming quieter than it has been all day, perhaps quieter than it has been in a very long time. Stay here for a moment, in this softness, in this stillness, in this calm space where nothing needs to happen except rest. Because your healing does not require perfection. Your mind does not need to become completely empty. You do not need to meditate perfectly. You do not need to do this right. You simply need to continue letting go little by little, and even if thoughts still appear sometimes, that is okay. You can let them float by like distant waves, no resistance, no frustration, just gentle release, because every time you stop fighting your thoughts, they lose a little more power, and every time you return your attention to calmness, your nervous system becomes a little more relaxed. So now, let the sound of this voice become softer inside your awareness. Let it blend gently with your breathing, with the darkness around you, with the peaceful heaviness growing throughout your body. You are safe to rest deeply tonight, safe to let go completely, safe to drift farther away from the stress of the day. And as your conscious mind slowly begins fading into the background, your subconscious mind becomes even more open to healing, open to peace, open to emotional restoration, open to deep and restorative sleep. And somewhere deep inside, your mind already knows exactly how to guide you there. So continue drifting, continue softening, continue allowing every word, every pause, every breath to carry you farther away from overthinking and deeper into complete relaxation, because this is only the beginning, and with every passing moment tonight, your mind will become calmer still, leading you naturally into an even deeper state of healing and rest, where your body can finally feel safe enough to fully let go. Tonight, your body no longer needs to stay on guard for so long without even realizing it. Your muscles have been holding tension like armor, tiny layers of protection built slowly over stressful days, difficult moments, emotional pressure, disappointments, responsibilities, and all the silent worries you carried without speaking out loud. The body remembers all of it, even the things your mind tried to ignore, especially the things your mind tried to ignore. Because the nervous system is always listening, always watching, always asking one quiet question beneath the surface. Am I safe? And when life becomes overwhelming, the body answers that question by staying alert. The shoulders tighten, the chest hardens, breathing becomes shorter, sleep becomes lighter, thoughts become faster. The body prepares itself for survival, even during moments when rest is desperately needed. But tonight, survival is no longer necessary. Tonight, you are safe here, safe in this bed, safe in this moment, safe to soften, safe to stop carrying the world for a little while. And perhaps, as you hear these words, part of your body is already beginning to believe them. Maybe your jaw has relaxed more deeply. Maybe your breathing has slowed. Maybe the heaviness in your muscles has started growing softer, warmer, calmer. That is your nervous system responding to gentleness, responding to safety, responding to the absence of pressure. So now, very slowly, take another deep breath in, and as you exhale, imagine your entire body receiving permission to let go, not tomorrow, not later, now. Very good. Again, breathing in calmness and breathing out all the invisible tension your body has been holding on to. Feel your chest rise softly and fall gently. Nothing forced, nothing rushed. Everything's slower now. Everything's softer now. Your body loves slowness. Healing happens in slowness. Deep rest happens in slowness. And the more slowly you move through this moment, the more your body begins understanding that it no longer has to stay prepared for stress. So now, bring your attention once again to your shoulders. Notice their weight. Notice how they rest against the bed, and imagine every exhale dissolving tension there. Layers of stress melting quietly away. The pressure from today, the pressure from yesterday, the pressure from constantly trying to hold everything together, all slowly loosening now. Your shoulders drop more deeply, your neck softens, the muscles around your spine relax, and as your body becomes physically softer, your thoughts naturally become emotionally softer too, because tension and overthinking are deeply connected. When the body tightens, the mind races. When the body relaxes, the mind begins slowing down. So tonight, you are calming your thoughts by calming your body first, and your body is responding beautifully. Perhaps now, your arms feel heavier, warmer, still. Your hands relax completely, your fingers no longer gripping anything, no longer trying to control anything, just resting, simply resting, Now feel that same softness moving into your chest again, your heart area softening more deeply, and if there has been emotional heaviness there lately, sadness, stress, loneliness, exhaustion, you do not need to push those feelings away tonight. You also do not need to fully understand them. You can simply let your body rest beside them, without resistance, without judgment, because healing begins the moment we stop fighting ourselves. So tonight, your body no longer needs to defend itself from every emotion. You are allowed to soften around your feelings, allowed to breathe through them gently, allowed to rest while healing quietly happens underneath the surface. And as you continue listening, imagine a warm, peaceful wave slowly flowing through your chest, a wave of calmness, a wave of comfort, a wave of emotional safety. It moves slowly downward now, through your stomach, loosening every muscle it touches. Your stomach relaxes completely. The tightness there softens. The hidden anxiety your body has been carrying begins fading little by little, because your body has spent enough time preparing for danger. Tonight, it can prepare for sleep instead, deep sleep, healing sleep, restorative sleep, the kind of sleep where the nervous system repairs itself, the kind of sleep where emotional exhaustion slowly begins lifting, the kind of sleep where your body remembers balance again, and balance is returning now quietly, naturally, without force. Your breathing continues slowing. Your heartbeat remains steady, your muscles sink more deeply into the bed, and your mind drifts farther away from the noise of the day. Thoughts no longer feel as sharp now. They pass more slowly, more distantly, like soft echoes fading across a quiet room. You do not need to follow them. You can let them drift. Because not every thought deserves your energy tonight. Some thoughts can simply pass by like clouds. And the more you let them pass, the calmer your nervous system becomes. Now notice how supported your body feels, the bed beneath you holding every part of your weight. You do not have to hold yourself up anymore. You do not have to stay emotionally guarded anymore. You do not have to keep proving your strength tonight. Rest itself is enough. Breathing itself is enough. Being here in this peaceful moment is enough. And perhaps part of you is beginning to feel emotional relief now. A soft inner exhale, as though your entire system is whispering. Finally slowing down, finally feeling safe enough to soften, finally releasing the constant pressure to stay alert. And as that relief spreads through your body, your nervous system continues unwinding. The body moves out of tension, out of protection, out of survival mode, and deeper into restoration. This is where true healing begins, not in stress, not in rushing, but here, in softness, in stillness, in safety. So now, imagine yourself wrapped in a warm blanket of calmness, a peaceful heaviness surrounding your entire body. The darkness around you feels comforting, quiet, gentle. Nothing to fear here, nothing to prepare for here. Only rest, only peace, only healing. And the deeper you sink into this peaceful state, the more your subconscious mind begins absorbing calmness automatically. Every pause relaxes you more deeply. Every breath slows your nervous system more completely. Every word guides you farther away from stress and closer to deep sleep. Now your legs feel heavier too, completely relaxed. Your thighs soften, your knees loosen, your calves melt into stillness. Even your feet relax completely, your entire body now resting in total comfort. And perhaps you are noticing how different this feels from the fast energy of the day. No rushing, no noise, no pressure, only slow, peaceful drifting, the kind of drifting your mind has needed for so long, because your body was never meant to live in constant stress. It was never meant to stay emotionally tense every moment of the day. Human beings need stillness, need softness, need emotional safety, and tonight, you are finally giving your body what it has been asking for all along: permission to relax, permission to stop carrying everything, permission to feel safe again. So stay here a little longer, inside this peaceful heaviness, inside this beautiful slowing down. Allow your breathing to guide you deeper. Allow your muscles to soften even more. Allow your thoughts to fade farther into the distance, because sleep is drawing closer now. You can feel it, that gentle pull, that soft floating sensation, that peaceful feeling of drifting farther away from effort and deeper into rest, your conscious mind slowly quieting, your subconscious mind opening more fully, healing becoming easier now, natural now, effortless now. And while you continue sinking deeper tonight, your body keeps learning a powerful truth, that calmness is safe, that stillness is safe, that rest is safe. And the more deeply your body believes this, the more completely it lets go, guiding you naturally toward an even deeper emotional release, where the hidden stress stored inside you can finally dissolve into the peaceful darkness. As your mind and body drift together into deep, healing sleep, there is a kind of exhaustion that sleep alone cannot fix, a deeper exhaustion, the kind that quietly builds from carrying too much for too long, not only physical weight, but emotional weight too. The pressure to stay strong, the pressure to keep going, the pressure to smile when your mind feels tired, to keep functioning when your heart feels overwhelmed, to continue carrying responsibilities even when part of you has been silently begging for rest, and after a while the weight becomes so familiar that you stop noticing how heavy it truly is. You wake up carrying it, you move through the day carrying it, you fall asleep carrying it. Your nervous system adapts to the heaviness until tension begins feeling normal. But tonight, something important is happening. Tonight, you no longer have to carry everything alone. Tonight, you are allowed to put the weight down, even if only for this moment, even if only little by little, because healing does not begin by forcing yourself to become stronger. Healing begins when you finally allow yourself to stop holding so much. So now, take a very slow breath in, and as you exhale, imagine the emotional weight inside you loosening slightly, very gently, very naturally, no force, no pressure, just release again, breathing in calmness and breathing out heaviness. Good, your body already understands what to do. Your nervous system already knows how to let go. It simply needed permission. And perhaps, as you continue listening tonight, you are beginning to notice just how tired you truly are. Not weak, not broken, just deeply tired from carrying invisible things, unspoken stress, hidden sadness, mental pressure, overthinking, emotional disappointment, the constant effort of trying to hold yourself together through moments that quietly drained you. Sometimes the heaviest things are the things nobody else can see, the thoughts you never shared, the emotions you buried, the pressure you placed on yourself, and because nobody else fully saw it, part of you learned to carry it silently, but your body felt every bit of it. Your chest felt it, your stomach felt it, your shoulders felt it, even your breathing carried traces of it. Because emotions do not disappear simply because they are ignored. They settle quietly into the body, and over time, emotional weight becomes physical exhaustion. But tonight, the release begins, not all at once, not dramatically, just softly, like snow melting in warm sunlight, like waves slowly pulling tension away from the shore. And the more deeply you relax tonight, the easier it becomes to release what no longer needs to stay inside you. So now, imagine yourself standing beside a peaceful river at night. The water moves slowly and quietly beneath the moonlight. Everything around you feels calm, still, safe. And in your hands, you are carrying heavy stones, each stone representing something you have been emotionally carrying: stress, fear, pressure, disappointment, sadness, the need to always stay strong, and for a moment simply notice how heavy those stones feel, how long you have been carrying them, how exhausting it has become. Then slowly, gently, imagine placing one stone into the river, watching the water carry it away. You do not need to hold on to it anymore. Then another stone, another burden released, another weight surrendered. And with every stone that leaves your hands, your body feels lighter, your breathing deepens, your shoulders soften, your heart relaxes, because the body responds immediately when emotional weight begins lifting. And perhaps part of you fears letting go sometimes, because carrying stress for so long can strangely begin to feel familiar, almost like identity, almost like control. But peace does not require you to carry suffering. Rest does not require struggle. You are allowed to feel lighter. You are allowed to stop carrying pain that no longer serves you. And tonight, your nervous system is slowly beginning to believe that. So now, bring your awareness gently to your chest. Notice the rise and fall of your breathing. Notice the space around your heart. And imagine every breath creating more softness there, more room, more openness, as though the tight emotional knots inside you are slowly loosening, very slowly, very safely, because your body will never release faster than it feels safe to release. And tonight, safety surrounds you. The darkness around you feels peaceful now. The bed beneath you supports you completely. This voice continues guiding you softly forward. You are not alone in this moment. And as your body continues relaxing more deeply, your subconscious mind begins letting go of emotional tension you may not even consciously remember carrying. Old stress patterns begin softening, mental exhaustion begins dissolving, the pressure to constantly overthink slowly fades into the background. You no longer need to solve everything tonight. Some things heal better in rest than in struggle. Some answers arrive only after the nervous system calms down. And some emotional wounds begin healing the moment you finally stop fighting yourself. So tonight, you are not fixing yourself. You are comforting yourself. There is a difference. And comfort creates safety. Safety creates relaxation. Relaxation creates healing. Now feel your body again, your arms heavy, your legs relaxed, your breathing slower than before, your eyelids softer. Everything inside you beginning to move in the direction of rest. And perhaps thoughts still appear sometimes. That is okay. You do not need perfect silence in your mind to experience peace. You only need softness, you only need gentleness, you only need the willingness to stop carrying every thought so tightly. So when thoughts come now, imagine them floating down that peaceful river too. No resistance, no judgment, just release. A stressful thought appears and drifts away. A painful memory appears and drifts away. An anxious thought appears and drifts farther into the darkness. You do not need to hold on to every thought that enters your mind. You are allowed to let them pass, and every time you let one pass, your nervous system relaxes a little more, because holding tension requires energy. Holding emotional pain requires energy. Holding constant mental pressure drains the body deeply. But releasing restores energy. Releasing creates space. Releasing allows healing to begin. So now, imagine warm healing light slowly surrounding your entire body again. Soft golden light, gentle calming light, a light that feels completely safe. It wraps around your shoulders first, lifting away emotional pressure, then around your chest, easing hidden heaviness, then around your stomach, calming anxiety stored deep inside. Everywhere this light touches, tension dissolves, your muscles soften more deeply, your breathing slows more naturally, your mind drifts farther away from stress. You are becoming lighter now, emotionally lighter, mentally lighter, energetically lighter. And as this light continues flowing through you, it gently reminds your body of something important. You were never meant to carry everything forever. You were never meant to hold endless stress without rest. You were never meant to survive without softness. Human beings need release, need stillness, need emotional rest, and tonight your body is finally receiving that rest. So allow yourself to sink deeper now, deeper into comfort, deeper into heaviness, deeper into emotional release, the outside world fading farther away, tomorrow becoming less important, everything slowing down now, everything softer now. Your subconscious mind continues absorbing these feelings deeply, absorbing safety, absorbing calmness, absorbing emotional peace. And while your conscious mind drifts closer towards sleep, your inner world quietly begins changing. Old emotional tension loosens, inner pressure fades, the need to constantly protect yourself softens, and beneath all that heaviness, something peaceful begins appearing again, a calmer version of you, a softer version of you, a version of you that no longer needs to carry pain as armor. That version of you still exists, still breathing quietly beneath the stress, still waiting patiently beneath the exhaustion. And tonight, you are reconnecting with that peaceful part of yourself again, not through effort, not through struggle, but through surrender, through rest, through finally allowing yourself to stop carrying what has become too heavy. So continue breathing slowly now, continue drifting, continue letting the emotional weight melt away from your body, one layer at a time, because the lighter you become, the deeper your healing can go. And the deeper your healing goes tonight, the more your mind and body naturally begin preparing for complete restoration, guiding you gently toward a quieter inner world, where overthinking softens into silence, emotional heaviness dissolves into calmness, and peaceful sleep begins surrounding you more completely with every slow and gentle breath. Your breath has been with you through every moment of your life, through every stressful day, every emotional conversation, every silent disappointment, every moment you kept going, even when you felt exhausted inside. Your breathing stayed with you through all of it. And yet, most of the time, people forget how powerful the breath truly is, because breathing is more than survival. Breathing is communication. Every breath sends a message to the nervous system. Fast, shallow breathing tells the body to stay alert. Slow, gentle breathing tells the body it is finally safe enough to relax. And tonight, with every calm breath you take, your body is beginning to receive a completely different message than the one stress has been sending all day long. A softer message, a healing message, a message that says, you can let go now. So slowly, gently, notice your breathing again, not trying to control it too much, simply noticing it, the cool air entering softly, the warm air leaving slowly, the natural rhythm beginning to slow all on its own. And as you continue listening tonight, your breath begins becoming like gentle ocean waves, slow waves, peaceful waves, one wave arriving softly and one wave drifting away, breathing in and breathing out, nothing rushed, nothing forced, everything calmer now, and perhaps for the first time today, you are truly noticing how deeply your body wants this calmness, how deeply your nervous system has been craving this moment of peace, because stress changes breathing without us realizing it. During difficult days, the breath becomes tight, quick, shallow. The body braces itself, the chest contracts slightly, and over time, many people spend entire days barely breathing fully at all. The nervous system stays stuck in preparation mode, always ready, always tense, always expecting something else to go wrong. But tonight, your breath is guiding you out of that state, out of pressure, out of urgency, out of survival mode, and gently back into balance. So now, take a slow deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs softly and completely, and then slowly exhale, as though you are breathing stress out of your body. Very good. Again, breathing in peace and breathing out exhaustion, breathing in softness and breathing out tension, every exhale becoming longer now, more relaxing now, and with every slow exhale, your muscles soften more deeply, your jaw relaxes, your shoulders loosen, your chest feels lighter because the body trusts slow breathing. The nervous system recognizes it as safety. That is why calm breathing feels so healing. It reminds the body that danger is no longer here, and tonight there is no danger in this moment, only darkness, only stillness, only rest. So allow your breathing to continue slowing naturally. No pressure to breathe perfectly, just softer, just gentler, just calmer than before. And as your breath becomes calmer, your thoughts begin changing too. The racing mind begins slowing down. Mental noise begins fading. Overthinking loses momentum because breath and thought are connected. When breathing slows, thinking slows. When breathing softens, the mind softens too. So tonight, every peaceful breath is carrying you farther away from stress and closer to deep healing sleep. Now imagine each breath flowing through your body like warm, calming light. As you inhale, peaceful energy fills your chest. As you exhale, heaviness leaves your body. Inhaling calmness, exhaling pressure, inhaling stillness, exhaling emotional fatigue. You do not need to carry the entire day inside you anymore. The breath is helping you release it now, one exhale at a time, and perhaps now you can feel your body becoming heavier against the bed. The deeper you breathe, the more relaxed your muscles become. The more relaxed your muscles become, the sleepier your mind begins to feel. This is the body returning to its natural rhythm, the rhythm stress interrupted, the rhythm your nervous system has been longing to return to. Slow breathing, slow heartbeat, soft muscles, quiet thoughts, deep rest. And as your breathing continues guiding you deeper tonight, imagine the stress from today leaving your body like smoke, slowly disappearing into the night sky. Every exhale releases more of it. The conversations, the pressure, the mental noise, the emotional heaviness. You no longer need to hold it all so tightly. Your breath is carrying it away now, gently, quietly, safely. So continue breathing slowly and notice what begins happening inside you. Perhaps your forehead feels softer now. Perhaps your eyes feel heavier. Perhaps your mind feels more distant, more dreamy, more relaxed. That is good. You are drifting naturally, exactly as you are meant to. Now imagine yourself lying beside the ocean at night, the sky above you dark and peaceful. The sound of gentle waves moving slowly nearby, each wave arriving calmly, each wave retreating softly, and your breathing begins matching the rhythm of the ocean itself. Slow, steady, endless, safe. Every inhale like a wave rolling gently toward the shore, every exhale like a wave drifting peacefully back into the sea. And with every wave, more tension leaves your body, more stress dissolves, more emotional heaviness fades away. The ocean carries it from you, your breathing carries it from you, until eventually there is almost nothing left to hold on to. Only softness remains, only stillness remains, only peace remains, and perhaps part of you is beginning to realize something important now. You do not always need to fight stress directly. Sometimes healing begins simply by breathing through it gently, because the breath creates space, space between you and anxious thoughts, space between you and emotional overwhelm, space between you and the pressure you have been carrying. And inside that space, peace begins growing. So now, continue breathing slowly and deeply. Feel your chest expanding softly. Feel your body relaxing more completely. Feel your nervous system settling further into safety. Every breath now becoming slower than the last, your heart rate calming naturally, your body temperature softening, your muscles releasing deeper layers of tension. You are entering a deeper state now, a quieter state, a dreamier state. And the deeper you drift, the more your subconscious mind opens to healing, open to calmness, open to emotional restoration, open to deep sleep. Your conscious mind no longer needs to stay fully alert. It no longer needs to keep scanning for problems. The breath is handling everything now, guiding you gently, safely, peacefully. And while your body continues breathing automatically tonight, your nervous system keeps receiving the same healing message over and over again. You are safe. You can relax. You can let go. Those messages are sinking deeper now, deeper into your muscles, deeper into your heart, deeper into your subconscious mind. And the more deeply your body believes those messages, the more completely it begins surrendering to rest. Now your breathing feels effortless, natural, slow and steady, like calm waves in the darkness. You may even notice small spaces between thoughts now, little moments of quiet, little moments where your mind stops trying so hard. Those moments are growing longer, growing softer, growing deeper, and soon thoughts themselves begin fading into the background, the breath becoming more important than thinking, peace becoming more important than pressure, rest becoming more important than control. So tonight, allow your breathing to carry you farther away from the stress of the day, farther away from emotional heaviness, farther away from overthinking, each breath taking you deeper into softness, deeper into stillness, deeper into healing sleep. Because every calm breath is preparing your body for restoration, preparing your mind for peace, preparing your nervous system to fully let go. And as you continue drifting deeper now, your breathing naturally begins guiding you toward an even quieter inner space where the constant noise inside your mind slowly fades into silence, where emotional tension dissolves gently into darkness, and where deep relaxation begins surrounding your entire body like a warm, peaceful night, carrying you softly toward complete and restorative sleep. Now, your body is beginning to understand something beautiful. It no longer has to stay tense. It no longer has to stay alert. It no longer has to carry the fast, exhausting rhythm of the outside world into this peaceful night, because you are entering a different space now. A slower space, a softer space, a space where relaxation becomes deeper with every breath, every pause, every passing moment, and perhaps you can already feel it happening. That gentle heaviness in your body, that softness behind your eyes, that drifting feeling beginning to pull you farther away from stress and closer towards sleep. This is the beginning of deep relaxation, not forced, not rushed, natural, like water slowly becoming still after a storm. And the more you allow yourself to settle into this calmness, the more your entire nervous system begins unwinding layer by layer. So now, do nothing. There is nowhere to go, nothing to achieve, nothing to solve tonight. You are allowed to simply exist here, peacefully, quietly, safely. And as you continue listening, imagine your entire body slowly sinking into comfort. The bed beneath you feels softer now, warmer now, almost as though it is gently holding every part of you, supporting every muscle, every breath, every tired thought. You are completely supported here. You do not need to hold yourself up anymore. And as your body realizes this, deeper relaxation begins spreading through you automatically. Your forehead softens more deeply. Your jaw loosens completely. The tiny muscles around your eyes melt into stillness. Your neck relaxes. Your shoulders feel heavy and warm, as though tension itself is slowly sliding away from your body. Very good. Now that relaxation continues moving downward, through your chest, your stomach, your back, every muscle softening, every breath guiding you deeper, and perhaps your thoughts are already beginning to blur slightly around the edges. That is good. You do not need sharp focus anymore. You do not need mental effort anymore. You are entering a softer state now, a dreamlike state, a peaceful state between wakefulness and sleep, where the conscious mind slowly quiets, and the subconscious mind opens gently. And in this deeply relaxed state, healing becomes easier, because the body heals best when it feels safe. The mind heals best when it stops fighting itself. And tonight, you are finally giving yourself permission to stop fighting. So imagine now that every exhale causes your body to sink a little deeper into the bed, deeper into comfort, deeper into softness, deeper into complete physical relaxation. Every breath making you heavier, more peaceful, more still, as though gravity itself is becoming softer, warmer, calmer, and the more deeply relaxed your body becomes, the quieter your thoughts grow. The outside world fades farther away. The pressure of tomorrow becomes less important. Everything slows down now. Everything softens now. Even time itself begins feeling slower here. And somewhere deep inside, your nervous system is beginning to trust this stillness completely. That trust allows even deeper relaxation to unfold. So now, notice your breathing again, slow, steady, effortless, your body no longer trying so hard, your chest rising gently, falling gently, everything moving naturally. Because relaxation is your body's natural state once stress is removed. You were never meant to live in constant tension. Your body was designed to rest, to recover, to heal. And tonight, it is finally returning to that natural rhythm again. So allow your awareness to drift slowly through your body. Now, notice how heavy your arms feel, how relaxed your hands have become. Notice the warmth spreading through your legs, the softness in your hips, the stillness in your feet, your entire body now entering deeper and deeper levels of relaxation, almost floating, almost drifting. And perhaps now, thoughts come more slowly, more quietly, like distant whispers fading into darkness. You no longer feel pulled into them the same way, because deep relaxation creates distance from mental noise. The deeper you relax, the less urgent your thoughts begin feeling, the less emotional weight they carry, and eventually, thoughts themselves begin dissolving into softness. So tonight, there is no need to force your mind empty. You only need to continue relaxing your body. Sleep will come naturally from there, and your body is already moving beautifully in that direction. Now imagine a warm wave of peaceful energy slowly flowing from the top of your head down through your entire body. A wave of deep calmness, a wave of pure comfort. Wherever this wave touches, muscles completely let go, the forehead relaxes more deeply, the jaw softens further, the throat opens gently, the shoulders melt, your chest loosens, your stomach softens, your legs grow heavier, everything inside you slowing down together, your body and mind beginning to move in perfect harmony, breathing slowly, resting deeply, drifting peacefully. And perhaps part of you is already halfway asleep now, that beautiful floating state where thoughts no longer fully connect, where awareness drifts in and out softly, where the subconscious mind becomes more open than the conscious mind. This is a deeply healing space, a space where emotional tension can finally release, a space where the nervous system resets itself, a space where the body restores balance naturally. So continue drifting deeper. You are safe here, safe to relax completely, safe to let your guard down, safe to stop carrying emotional pressure for a little while. And with every passing minute, your body trusts this calmness more completely. Your heart beats slower now, your muscles softer now, your breathing deeper now. Even your thoughts seem farther away, everything becoming wonderfully heavy, wonderfully still, wonderfully peaceful. Now imagine yourself floating gently on warm, calm water beneath a quiet night sky, the stars above you glowing softly, the air cool and peaceful, the water beneath you holding your body effortlessly. You do not need to swim, do not need to move, the water supports you completely, and as you float there, all effort begins disappearing. No pressure, no stress, no tension, only floating, only drifting, only peaceful surrender. And that same surrender is happening inside your body now. Muscles surrendering tension, thoughts surrendering control, the nervous system surrendering stress, everything letting go together. And the deeper you surrender, the deeper relaxation carries you. You may notice your body twitching softly sometimes, or your thoughts fading suddenly, or moments where you almost forget where you are. That is natural. That is the mind drifting closer toward sleep, closer toward dreams, closer toward deep healing rest. You are doing perfectly. There is nothing else you need to do from here. No effort required, no concentration required. Just continue listening softly, while your body relaxes more deeply with every word. And now, as your entire body settles into this peaceful heaviness, your subconscious mind begins opening even more fully, absorbing calmness effortlessly, absorbing emotional safety, absorbing healing. Your nervous system continues slowing, repairing, restoring itself. And while the outside world sleeps tonight, your body quietly begins recovering from all the stress it has carried for too long. The healing has already begun. You can feel it in the softness of your breathing, in the heaviness of your body, in the peaceful slowness spreading through your thoughts. Everything inside you now moving toward deep rest, deep restoration, deep sleep. So continue sinking, continue drifting, continue allowing yourself to disappear gently into this beautiful state of complete relaxation. Because the deeper you relax tonight, the more naturally your overthinking mind begins fading into silence, preparing you for an even quieter inner world, where thoughts slow like distant echoes in the dark, where emotional tension loses its grip completely, and where peaceful sleep begins surrounding your mind like soft darkness wrapping gently around a tired soul. Your mind has been working so hard for so long. Even during moments when your body tried to rest, your thoughts kept moving, thinking, replaying, analyzing, preparing, worrying, searching for answers that never seemed to fully arrive. And after a while, the mind becomes so used to constant movement that silence itself begins to feel unfamiliar, perhaps even uncomfortable at times, because overthinking often begins quietly. One extra thought before sleep, one worry about tomorrow, one replayed conversation. But slowly, those thoughts multiply until the mind rarely gets a moment of true stillness. And exhaustion begins building beneath the surface. Not only mental exhaustion, but emotional exhaustion too. Because thinking constantly requires energy, especially anxious thinking, especially emotional overthinking. But tonight, your mind no longer has to work so hard. Tonight, you are allowed to stop searching for solutions, allowed to stop replaying the day, allowed to stop carrying every thought as though it must be solved immediately, right now. There is nothing you need to figure out, nothing you need to control, nothing you need to mentally hold together anymore. And perhaps hearing that, part of your mind already feels relief, a soft inner exhale, as though something inside you has been waiting for permission to finally slow down. So now, gently notice the thoughts still moving through your mind. Do not fight them. Do not chase them away. Simply notice them, like clouds drifting slowly across a dark, peaceful sky. One thought appears, then slowly fades. Another thought arrives, then drifts away into the distance. You are no longer grabbing onto every thought tonight. You are allowing them to pass naturally. And that changes everything. Because overthinking grows stronger when we resist thoughts, fear thoughts, or try to force them away. But when we simply allow thoughts to come and go without attachment, the mind gradually begins quieting on its own, naturally, gently, like muddy water becoming clear when left undisturbed. So tonight, you do not need to force silence inside your head. You only need to stop feeding the noise, and already your mind is beginning to soften. You may notice longer pauses between thoughts now, small moments of stillness, small moments where nothing needs your attention. Those moments are important because peace does not always arrive all at once. Sometimes peace arrives quietly, in tiny spaces between thoughts, and those peaceful spaces are growing larger now. So slowly, take another calm breath in, and as you exhale, imagine the volume inside your mind lowering slightly, the mental noise becoming softer, farther away, less urgent. Very good. Again, breathing in calmness and breathing out mental tension, breathing in stillness and breathing out overthinking. And with every slow breath, your nervous system relaxes more deeply, the body becoming heavier, the mind becoming quieter, thoughts no longer racing the way they once were, because your brain is finally realizing something important tonight. It does not have to stay alert right now. It does not have to solve tomorrow tonight. And it certainly does not need to replay every mistake, every fear, every possibility over and over again in order to protect you. Your mind has simply been trying to keep you safe. That is why it thinks so much sometimes. That is why it keeps scanning for problems. That is why it struggles to fully relax. But tonight, you are teaching your mind a new way, a gentler way, a calmer way, a safer way. So now, imagine yourself sitting beside a fireplace late at night, the room around you dim and peaceful, the fire glowing softly, warm golden light flickering gently in the darkness, and every thought in your mind is like a tiny spark rising from the fire. One spark rises, then disappears. Another spark drifts upward, then fades away. No spark stays forever, and no thought stays forever either. Thoughts naturally pass when we stop gripping them so tightly. So tonight, you are loosening your grip. You are no longer holding every thought as an emergency. You are no longer treating every worry as something that must be solved immediately. Instead, you are allowing your mind to rest, and rest is deeply healing for the brain, because the brain cannot heal while constantly overwhelmed. The nervous system cannot recover while trapped in endless mental activity. Healing requires stillness, healing requires slowness, healing requires moments exactly like this one. So now, let your awareness soften even more. You do not need to focus intensely anymore. You can drift, you can fade in and out of these words. Your subconscious mind is already listening, already absorbing calmness, already learning how to feel safe in stillness again. And perhaps now, your thoughts already feel slower than they did earlier tonight, less emotionally sharp, less heavy. That is because your body is relaxing more deeply. And when the body relaxes, the brain receives signals that it no longer needs to stay on high alert. Everything inside you begins slowing together. Your breathing, your heartbeat, your thoughts, your emotional reactions, everything softening into one peaceful rhythm. Now imagine the inside of your mind becoming quieter and quieter, like a busy city slowly falling asleep at night. The noise fading, the movement slowing, the lights dimming one by one, until eventually only stillness remains, only silence, only peace. And perhaps for a moment, you notice how beautiful that quietness feels. No pressure there, no chaos there, only softness, only rest. And your mind deserves that rest. You have spent enough time mentally carrying things that exhausted you, enough time replaying moments that hurt, enough time worrying about things beyond your control. Tonight, your mind can finally set those things down. Not forever, just for now. And that is enough, because healing often begins in temporary moments of release, one peaceful night at a time, one deep breath at a time, one quiet moment at a time. So continue allowing your thoughts to drift farther away now. No chasing, no resisting, no forcing, only observing, only breathing, only relaxing. Very good. Now feel the heaviness in your body again. Your arms heavy, your legs relaxed, your chest soft and calm, your eyelids growing heavier with every passing moment. You are drifting deeper now, closer to sleep, closer to complete mental stillness. And as you drift, imagine warm darkness gently surrounding your thoughts, soft, peaceful darkness, like velvet night wrapping around your mind, every thought becoming slower inside that darkness, softer, more distant, until eventually thoughts lose their shape completely, becoming nothing more than soft passing feelings. And then even those begin fading too. You are entering a deeper state now, a state where the subconscious mind becomes more active than the thinking mind, a state where healing becomes easier, where emotional balance begins restoring itself naturally, where the nervous system resets and your body already knows exactly how to move into that state. You do not need to guide it. You only need to continue letting go. And the beautiful thing is, your mind already wants to let go. It wants peace, it wants rest, it wants relief from all the noise. So tonight, you are giving your mind exactly what it has needed: stillness, gentleness, silence without loneliness, darkness without fear, a moment where nothing needs to happen except healing, and somewhere beneath all the overthinking is becoming calmer now. That peaceful, quiet part of you that has always existed beneath the stress, beneath the anxiety, beneath the mental noise, that peaceful part of you is still there, still breathing softly beneath the surface. And tonight, you are reconnecting with it again, slowly, naturally, safely. So now, continue drifting deeper into this quietness. Allow the sound of this voice to fade softly into the background of your awareness. Allow your thoughts to become slower and slower. Allow your body to grow heavier and heavier, because sleep is getting closer now. You can feel it, that soft floating sensation, that dreamy heaviness, that peaceful slowing down of everything inside you. Your mind no longer trying so hard, your nervous system no longer holding so tightly, everything beginning to release together. And as your overthinking mind continues softening into silence tonight, a deeper emotional healing quietly begins underneath the surface, preparing your heart to release hidden tension you may have carried for far too long, while your subconscious mind drifts gently toward an even deeper state of calmness, safety, and restorative sleep. There are emotions your mind learned to hide long before your body ever learned how to release them. Quiet sadness, unspoken stress, disappointment you carried silently, moments where you smiled for others, while feeling emotionally exhausted inside. And over time, those emotions do not simply disappear, they settle deep within the body, inside the chest, inside the stomach, inside the nervous system, hidden beneath daily routines, responsibilities, distractions, and the constant pressure to keep going. But tonight, your body no longer has to carry emotional tension alone. Tonight, something inside you can finally begin softening, not by forcing emotions away, not by reliving every painful memory, but by creating enough safety, enough stillness, enough calmness for the emotional weight inside you to slowly loosen on its own. Because healing rarely happens through pressure. Healing happens through gentleness, and your body responds beautifully to gentleness. So now, take a slow, soft breath in, and as you exhale, Imagine the emotional heaviness inside you becoming just a little lighter, very gently, very naturally. No effort needed, just release again, breathing in calmness and breathing out emotional tension, breathing in softness and breathing out the weight you no longer need to hold so tightly tonight. Very good. Now notice your chest again, the rise and fall of your breathing, the space around your heart, and perhaps there are emotions there that words could never fully explain. Exhaustion that built slowly over time. Loneliness hidden behind strength. Fear hidden behind control. Sadness hidden behind silence. You do not need to explain any of it tonight. You do not need to fully understand every emotion in order to heal from it. Your body already knows what it has been carrying, and tonight, your body is finally receiving permission to begin letting some of it go. So imagine a warm, healing light surrounding your chest now. Soft, golden light, comforting light, safe light, a light that asks nothing from you except softness, and with every breath, this light grows warmer, more peaceful, more calming, as though it is gently wrapping around every hidden emotion you have carried for too long. No judgment, no pressure, only compassion, only understanding, only rest. And perhaps, for the first time in a while, part of you no longer feels like it has to emotionally protect itself so tightly, because emotional tension often comes from protection. The heart learns to guard itself after pain. The nervous system learns to stay alert after stress. The mind learns to overthink after uncertainty. Everything inside you has simply been trying to keep you safe. But tonight, you no longer need to stay emotionally guarded. Not here, not now. This moment is peaceful. This moment is safe. And as your body begins believing that more deeply, emotional tension starts melting little by little. The muscles around your chest soften. Your breathing deepens, your heartbeat steadies, your nervous system relaxes further, and hidden emotional weight begins loosening beneath the surface. You may not even consciously notice every emotion releasing tonight. Some healing happens quietly, silently, deep within the subconscious mind. That is the beauty of deep relaxation. The body begins healing even when the conscious mind lets go. So now, imagine yourself sitting beside a calm fire late at night, the air cool and still around you, the flames glowing softly in the darkness, and every emotion you have been carrying appears like tiny pieces of paper resting gently in your hands. Stress, fear, disappointment, emotional exhaustion, pressure, heartache. You do not need to analyze them anymore. You do not need to carry them endlessly. One by one, you place them softly into the fire, and as the flames touch them, they dissolve into warmth and light. No struggle, no resistance, only release. And with every emotion you release, your body becomes lighter, your breathing softer, your mind quieter, your heart less heavy. Because emotional healing begins the moment we stop gripping pain so tightly, not by denying emotions, but by allowing them to move through us gently, instead of becoming trapped inside us. And tonight, your body is finally beginning that process, very safely, very slowly, exactly at the pace your nervous system needs. So continue breathing softly now. Feel the warmth in your chest spreading further, relaxing deeper layers of emotional tension, the sadness you carried quietly, the pressure you buried deeply, the emotional fatigue nobody else fully saw, all slowly softening now, because you were never meant to carry endless emotional weight without rest. Human hearts need gentleness too, need comfort, need stillness, need moments where they no longer have to fight so hard. And tonight, your heart is receiving that moment. So now, allow your shoulders to soften even more. Allow your jaw to loosen further. Allow your body to stop bracing itself emotionally. You are safe to relax here, safe to feel lighter, safe to let healing happen slowly. And perhaps now you are noticing a subtle emotional shift inside you, a quiet sense of relief, a soft inner calmness, almost like your entire nervous system is exhaling after holding tension for too long. That feeling is important, that feeling is healing, because when emotional tension begins leaving the body, the nervous system naturally moves toward peace again, toward balance, toward safety, toward rest. Now imagine warm waves of comfort slowly moving through your body, beginning in your chest, flowing into your stomach, down your arms, into your legs. Everywhere these waves move, emotional tightness dissolves, stress softens, mental pressure fades, everything becoming gentler now. And as these calming waves continue flowing through you, your subconscious mind begins absorbing a new emotional truth. You no longer have to survive every moment. You no longer have to carry every burden alone. You no longer have to stay emotionally tense all the time. Rest is safe. Softness is safe. Peace is safe. Those truths are sinking deeper now, deeper into your body, deeper into your heart, deeper into your subconscious mind. And the deeper they sink, the more completely your body relaxes. Now your breathing feels effortless, your thoughts slower, your body heavier against the bed, your eyelids softer, sleep pulling gently at the edges of your awareness. You are drifting beautifully now, halfway between thought and dream, halfway between wakefulness and sleep. This is where deep emotional healing often begins, in this quiet in-between space, where the conscious mind softens enough for the subconscious heart to finally breathe. So stay here, drift here, rest here. Allow yourself to feel emotionally held by this peaceful darkness around you. Nothing to prove here, nothing to protect here, nothing to carry here. Only healing, only softness, only rest. And perhaps, beneath all the stress you have carried, there is still a peaceful version of you quietly waiting. A softer version, a calmer version, a version of you untouched by all the pressure. That peaceful self has never disappeared. It has only been hidden beneath exhaustion, hidden beneath emotional tension, hidden beneath the noise of survival mode. But tonight, that peaceful part of you is beginning to rise again, very gently, very quietly, like moonlight appearing through darkness. And the more deeply you relax tonight, the stronger that peaceful feeling becomes. Not dramatic, not overwhelming, just calm, just safe, just enough. So continue allowing emotional tension to melt away from your body now. Continue allowing your heart to soften. Continue drifting deeper into this beautiful stillness, because every breath is carrying you farther away from emotional exhaustion and closer toward deep healing rest. And as your heart continues releasing hidden tension tonight, your entire inner world begins opening more fully to peace, guiding your nervous system into deeper balance, your subconscious mind into deeper calmness, and your body into a softer state of surrender, where healing flows quietly beneath the surface, while sleep slowly wraps around you like warm darkness at the end of a long and exhausting day. There is a moment just before sleep where everything becomes softer than thought, a moment where your awareness stops gripping so tightly, where the edges of your mind begin to blur gently, where your body feels heavier and your thoughts feel further away. And in that moment, something very important happens. Your inner world begins to shift from control into surrender, from thinking into feeling, from holding on into letting go. And tonight, you are entering that space more deeply than before. So now, you do not need to analyze anything. You do not need to follow every thought. You do not need to understand every emotion. You only need to allow yourself to drift very slowly, very safely, very peacefully, Because surrender is not something you force. Surrender is something that happens when the nervous system finally feels safe enough to stop resisting. So take a slow breath in, and as you exhale, imagine your entire body becoming slightly heavier, just a little more relaxed than before. Very good. Again, breathing in calmness and breathing out control, breathing in softness and breathing out resistance. And as you continue breathing like this, something begins to shift inside you. The part of you that has been holding everything together starts to loosen its grip, not suddenly, not dramatically, but gently, like a rope slowly unwinding, like tension slowly melting in warm light, because holding on requires energy, and letting go allows energy to return. So tonight, your body is learning a different way, a softer way, a calmer way, a way that does not require constant effort. Now imagine yourself standing at the edge of a calm ocean at night. The waves are slow, the water is dark but peaceful, the air is soft and cool against your skin, and every wave gently touches the shore, then quietly retreats back into the sea. Nothing forced, nothing rushed, just natural rhythm. And as you watch this ocean, you begin to notice something important. You are not the waves, you are not the movement, you are the awareness watching it all, and that awareness is already calm beneath everything else, even if thoughts come and go, even if emotions rise and fall. There is a deeper part of you that remains steady, still, present, quiet, and that deeper part of you is becoming more noticeable now, because as your mind slows down, awareness expands, and as awareness expands, you begin to feel less caught inside thoughts and more like the observer of thoughts. That shift is powerful because when you are no longer fully inside every thought, those thoughts lose intensity, they lose urgency, they lose emotional grip. So now allow yourself to rest in that observing space. Notice thoughts without attaching to them. A thought appears and you let it pass. Another thought appears and you let it drift away. No resistance, no effort, just allowing. And slowly your mind begins to understand something new. It does not need to hold on to everything. It does not need to react to everything. It does not need to stay engaged with every passing mental image. And as this understanding settles in, your mental space begins to open, like a sky clearing after a storm. Thoughts become fewer, thoughts become slower, thoughts become softer, and in between those thoughts, something else appears. Silence, but not empty silence, peaceful silence, restful silence, healing silence. So now, let your attention gently return to your body. Notice the heaviness in your limbs. Notice the softness in your breathing. Notice the calmness spreading through your chest. Your body is beginning to fully enter surrender now, not resisting sleep, not chasing sleep, simply allowing sleep to come closer. And as you allow that, your nervous system responds immediately. Heart rate slows, muscles relax deeper, breathing becomes more natural. The body shifts from doing into being. And in that state, healing becomes effortless, because healing does not require effort. Healing requires allowance. So now, imagine your entire body slowly sinking downward, like sinking into warm sand at the edge of the ocean, safe, supported, held. No need to hold yourself up anymore. No need to maintain tension. No need to stay alert. Everything can soften now. Everything can release now. And as your body sinks deeper into relaxation, your emotional world also begins softening. The emotional defenses you built during stressful moments begin loosening. The inner tension you carried through the day begins fading. The quiet emotional fatigue you ignored begins dissolving gently, not all at once, but layer by layer, breath by breath, moment by moment. Because emotional release does not require force, it requires safety, and tonight your body finally feels safe enough. So now Imagine a soft, warm light surrounding your entire body, not bright, not intense, just gentle, comforting, like a calm sunrise slowly spreading warmth across a quiet landscape. This light begins at the top of your head and slowly moves downward, relaxing every muscle it touches. Your forehead softens, your eyes relax deeper, your jaw loosens completely, your neck becomes heavy and still. Your shoulders drop further, your chest softens, your stomach relaxes, your arms feel weightless, your legs become deeply heavy, every part of you now being gently guided into stillness. And as this stillness grows, your mind follows, because the mind always follows the body. A relaxed body creates a relaxed mind. A calm body creates a calm mind. A safe body creates a safe mind. So now, you are not trying to calm your mind, you are allowing your body to lead the way, and it is doing so beautifully. Now imagine your thoughts becoming like distant sounds in another room. You are aware of them, but not attached to them. They no longer pull you in, they no longer demand your attention. They simply exist and fade, and this fading is natural. Because attention is what gives thoughts energy, and you are gently withdrawing attention from stress and placing it into calmness, into breathing, into stillness, into this moment. And as you remain here, something deeper begins to unfold, a sense of emotional release, like something inside you is finally exhaling after holding tension for too long. That subtle inner release is important because your nervous system is letting go of stored emotional energy, not all at once, but gently, in waves, soft waves of relaxation moving through your entire being, and with every wave, you become lighter, not physically lighter, but emotionally lighter, mentally lighter, energetically lighter, as if invisible weight is slowly being lifted off you. So now, allow yourself to surrender even more. You do not need to stay fully aware. You do not need to follow every word. You can simply drift in and out between awareness and sleep. And that drifting is exactly where healing deepens, because in that in-between state, the subconscious mind becomes more open, more receptive, more ready to release stored tension and replace it with calmness, with safety, with peace. So continue floating in this softness. Let your breathing guide you. Let your body sink deeper. Let your thoughts fade gently. And as you do, your entire system begins entering a more profound state of rest, a state where nothing is required from you anymore, not effort, not control, not thinking, only being, only resting, only allowing, and somewhere in this deep stillness, your inner world begins reorganizing itself quietly. Stress patterns begin loosening, emotional tension begins softening, mental noise begins fading, and a deeper sense of balance begins returning naturally, because your body knows how to heal when given the chance. Your mind knows how to settle when not pressured. Your nervous system knows how to restore itself when safe. And tonight, you are giving all of that permission. So now, drift even deeper. Let yourself go further into this calm space, because the more you let go, the more peaceful you become, and the more peaceful you become, the closer you move toward deep restorative sleep, where your subconscious mind continues soft healing work in silence, while your body rests fully, safely, and completely in the quiet darkness of the night. There is a deeper level of rest, beyond physical relaxation, beyond slowing thoughts, beyond even emotional release, a level where your awareness begins to feel weightless, as if you are no longer fully here in the usual sense, but gently drifting somewhere between waking and dreaming. And that is exactly where you are moving now, slowly, naturally, safely. Because sleep is not something you force. Sleep is something you allow yourself to fall into, when everything inside you finally stops resisting. So now, you do not need to stay alert. You do not need to track every word. You do not need to maintain focus. You can simply drift very softly, very deeply, very peacefully. And as you drift, notice how your body already feels heavier than before. That heaviness is not a burden, it is release, it is surrender. It is your nervous system finally letting go of unnecessary tension. So take a slow breath in, and as you exhale, imagine yourself sinking just a little deeper into the surface beneath you, like floating downward into warm, calm water. No fear, no effort, just surrender. Very good. Again, breathing in softness and breathing out control, breathing in calmness and breathing out resistance. And as you continue breathing like this, something begins to change in your awareness. The boundary between your thoughts and your surroundings starts to soften. Thoughts no longer feel sharp or solid. They feel distant, like echoes, like fading impressions. And in between those fading thoughts, there is more silence now, more space, more stillness. And that stillness is where healing begins to deepen, because your mind does not heal in noise, your mind heals in quietness. So now, allow that quietness to grow. No need to analyze it, no need to maintain it, just allow it. And as you allow it, your body continues sinking deeper into rest. Your shoulders feel heavier, your arms feel still and weightless, your chest rises and falls slowly, almost like the rhythm of the ocean at night. Everything inside you is becoming slower, softer, more distant, and that is a sign your nervous system is shifting into deeper relaxation. Now imagine yourself floating in a vast calm space. No walls, no pressure, no boundaries, just gentle floating, like drifting in a soft, dark, peaceful sky, and every breath you take makes you lighter in awareness. Even though your body feels heavier, this contrast is important because physical heaviness means relaxation, mental lightness means release, and both are happening together now, very naturally, very safely. And as you float here, you may notice something subtle happening in your mind. Thoughts no longer stay long enough to form stories. They appear and dissolve. They begin and fade, without attachment, without emotional pull. This is the beginning of mental quietness, not forced silence, but natural fading, like waves losing strength as they reach the shore. So now you do not need to hold on to anything in your mind. You can let everything pass. Let every thought become lighter. Let every memory become distant. Let every worry lose importance. Because nothing requires your attention right now. Everything can wait. Everything can pause, everything can soften, and in this softness, your nervous system begins to repair itself, stress hormones slowly decrease, muscle tension continues releasing, breathing becomes deeper and slower, heart rate steadies into calm rhythm, and your entire body begins entering a state of restoration, a state where healing is no longer something you try to do, but something your body naturally begins doing on its own. So now, imagine a gentle wave of stillness moving through your entire being, starting at the top of your head, slowly moving downward, relaxing every layer of tension it touches. Your scalp softens, your forehead smooths, your eyes rest deeper, your jaw releases completely, your neck loosens, your shoulders drop further, your chest opens gently, your stomach softens fully, your arms become heavy and still, your legs sink deeper, every part of you responding to this wave of calm. And with each wave, you drift further away from the outer world, farther from sound, farther from thought, farther from effort, until only softness remains, only stillness remains, only quiet awareness remains, and even that awareness begins to fade gently now, not disappearing suddenly, but dissolving slowly, like mist in early morning light, because you are entering a deeper layer of rest, a place where thinking is no longer needed, a place where awareness becomes soft and dreamlike, a place where your subconscious mind takes over gently and begins guiding your body into full restoration. So now, there is nothing for you to do, nothing to follow, nothing to hold. You are free to drift, free to soften, free to fall deeper into sleep. And as you drift, your breathing continues quietly on its own, in and out, slow, steady, peaceful, each breath pulling you deeper into relaxation, each exhale releasing the last traces of tension. And now your mind becomes even quieter, thoughts appear less frequently, silence grows longer between them, and that silence begins to feel comforting, safe, familiar, because your body recognizes this state. It remembers this state. It was always designed for this state. Rest, recovery, healing. Now imagine yourself lying on a soft surface that gently supports every part of your body. There is no weight to hold, no effort to make, no direction to follow, just surrender. And in this surrender, something beautiful happens. Your nervous system begins reorganizing itself. Old stress patterns begin dissolving. Emotional tension begins softening. Mental clutter begins fading, and deeper calmness begins taking its place, not suddenly, but gently, like darkness slowly wrapping the world in quiet night. So now, allow yourself to go even deeper. If thoughts appear, let them drift. If sensations appear, let them pass. If awareness comes and goes, that is perfectly natural. You are not meant to stay fully awake anymore. You are meant to drift, and drifting is exactly what is happening now. Your body feels heavier, your mind feels farther away, your awareness becomes softer, and sleep begins approaching closer, like a gentle tide pulling you inward. And as you move deeper into this state, your subconscious mind continues its quiet work, releasing stress, resetting emotional balance, restoring inner calm, repairing the nervous system, all happening silently, effortlessly, while you simply rest. So now, continue letting go. Let your thoughts become quieter. Let your body become heavier. Let your breathing guide you deeper, because you are now entering the threshold of sleep, that peaceful space where awareness fades and healing deepens, and the mind slowly dissolves into rest. As your entire being moves gently toward deep sleep, where restoration continues in silence, and your inner world finally finds the calm it has been searching for all along, there is a place your mind reaches just before sleep fully takes over, a quiet threshold, a soft in-between state, where thinking becomes optional and awareness begins to dissolve gently into stillness. And you are there now, right at that edge, slowly drifting deeper, more relaxed than before, more surrendered than before, more ready to let go completely, because everything in your body is now preparing for rest, not effort, not control, just rest. So now, you do not need to stay focused. You do not need to follow every word carefully. You can simply allow the sound of this voice to carry you gently forward, like a soft current in calm water, very slowly, very peacefully. And as you continue drifting, notice how your thoughts have already started to feel different, less structured, less demanding, less important. They no longer pull you in the same way. They appear and fade without holding your attention. And that is because your mind is entering a deeper level of relaxation now, a level where thinking is no longer dominant, where awareness becomes soft and spacious, where everything slows down naturally. So take a slow breath in, and as you exhale, imagine yourself sinking a little deeper into comfort, just slightly more relaxed than before. Very good. Again, breathing in calmness and breathing out control, breathing in softness and breathing out mental effort. And as your breathing continues like this, something important begins happening inside you. The part of your mind that tries to stay alert begins stepping back, not suddenly, not forcefully, but gradually, like a light slowly dimming in a quiet room, because there is no longer any need to stay fully awake, no longer any need to analyze, no longer any need to hold on to awareness tightly. And as that need fades, your entire system begins relaxing more deeply, your body becomes heavier, your muscles soften further, your heartbeat slows gently, your breathing becomes more effortless, everything moving in the direction of sleep now, very naturally, very safely. And now imagine yourself floating on a calm, dark ocean at night. No waves of stress, no noise, no urgency, just endless gentle water supporting you completely. You are not swimming, you are not trying, you are simply floating. And that floating represents your mind right now. No resistance, no effort, just surrender. And as you float, you begin noticing that even your thoughts feel far away, like distant signals fading into silence, not disappearing suddenly, but becoming softer and softer. And in that softness, something begins to open inside you, a deeper sense of calm, a quieter awareness, a peaceful emptiness that does not feel empty at all, but deeply restful, because this is the space where the nervous system resets itself, where emotional pressure dissolves, where mental fatigue begins healing. So now, allow your awareness to drift even further away from thinking. There is no need to hold on to identity here, no need to maintain focus, no need to stay mentally active. You are allowed to simply exist in this quiet space between waking and sleep. And as you stay here, your body continues doing something very important. It is releasing stored tension, not all at once, but in layers, shoulders relaxing further, jaw softening more deeply, chest becoming lighter, stomach releasing hidden tightness, legs sinking deeper into stillness. Every part of your body responding to this growing sense of safety, because safety is what allows release, and release is what allows healing. So now, imagine a soft, warm darkness surrounding you completely, not frightening darkness, not empty darkness, but comforting darkness, like being wrapped in a peaceful night that holds you gently. And inside this darkness, your thoughts begin slowing even more. Each thought now feels like a distant echo, a faint impression, something that no longer demands attention. And between those fading thoughts, silence grows stronger, peace grows deeper, stillness becomes more natural, and your nervous system begins to settle into a slower rhythm, a calmer rhythm, a healing rhythm. Now your breathing feels almost automatic, effortless, like your body is breathing itself. And in this effortless breathing, something subtle begins to shift. Your awareness becomes softer, less defined, more fluid. You are no longer fully watching your thoughts. You are simply drifting through them. And that drifting is exactly what your mind needs right now, because the thinking mind cannot heal while it is active. But when it begins to soften, healing begins to emerge naturally. So now, let yourself drift even deeper. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to control, nothing to maintain, only softness, only relaxation, only surrender. And as you surrender, your subconscious mind begins taking over gently. It guides your body into deeper rest. It slows your heartbeat. It relaxes your muscles. It organizes emotional tension quietly in the background, without effort, without awareness, just natural healing processes unfolding. So now imagine yourself slowly descending, like a feather falling through calm night air. No resistance, no weight, just gentle drifting downward, each moment taking you deeper into relaxation, each breath carrying you closer to sleep. And as you descend, thoughts become even more distant, They no longer form complete ideas. They dissolve before they fully appear. And that is a sign you are entering a deeper sleep-ready state, a state where awareness is soft, where the mind is quiet, where the body is fully relaxed. So continue drifting. You are safe here, you are supported here, you are allowed to fully let go. And as you drift, notice how peaceful everything has become. No urgency, no pressure, no mental effort, only stillness, only calmness, only gentle fading awareness. Now imagine your entire mind becoming like a calm night sky. No storms, no movement, just wide open space, soft darkness, quiet presence, and every thought that appears is like a tiny star briefly glowing, then gently fading away, no attachment, no reaction, just passing. And with every passing thought, your mind becomes quieter, your awareness becomes softer, your body becomes heavier, until eventually everything begins blending into one peaceful experience. Breathing, stillness, softness, darkness, relaxation, all merging together. And now sleep is very close. You can feel it, that gentle pull downward, that soft heaviness in your eyelids, that slow fading of awareness. And there is nothing you need to resist. You are allowed to fall, you are allowed to drift, you are allowed to disappear gently into rest. Because sleep is not an ending, sleep is restoration, sleep is healing, sleep is the body returning to balance. So now, continue sinking deeper, let go of any remaining effort, let go of any remaining awareness, let go of anything still trying to stay active inside your mind. Everything can soften now, everything can fade now, and as your awareness continues dissolving gently into this peaceful darkness, your body fully enters deep rest, your mind becomes quiet and weightless, and your entire being slowly transitions into healing sleep, where thoughts no longer hold importance, and only calm restoration remains, carrying you deeper into silence, deeper into softness, and deeper into complete unconscious rest. And now, as your body continues sinking deeper into this calm state, something subtle begins happening within your mind, something quiet, something almost unnoticeable at first, but incredibly powerful over time. Because your mind is always learning, even now, even in stillness, even as you rest, your subconscious is listening, absorbing, and gently reorganizing the way it responds to life. And tonight, it is learning something new, something different from stress, something different from overthinking, something different from emotional pressure. It is learning peace, not forced peace, not temporary distraction, but real internal calmness that begins to settle deeper with every breath you take. So as you lie here, you do not need to try to change your thoughts. You do not need to fight your mind. You do not need to push anything away, because change is happening underneath awareness, quietly, naturally, effortlessly. And as you continue listening, imagine your thoughts slowly becoming softer, like distant echoes fading into a wide, empty space. Each thought that once felt important now begins to lose intensity. Each worry that once felt heavy now feels further away. Each mental pattern that used to repeat endlessly now begins to slow down. Not because you forced it, but because your nervous system is finally relaxing enough to allow it. And in this relaxation, your brain begins forming a new internal message. A message that says, you are safe now. You do not need to stay alert. You do not need to overthink every detail. You can rest. And with every repetition of that feeling, your subconscious begins accepting it more deeply, because the subconscious mind does not respond to logic. It responds to repetition, to emotion, to state, And right now, your entire state is calm, slow, peaceful, and safe. So that message is going deeper and deeper into your system. Now imagine that inside your mind there is a soft space opening, like a quiet room with warm light, where all thoughts begin to slow down before entering. And as each thought enters this space, it becomes lighter, less intense, less emotional, until it gently dissolves, and you do not need to interact with it. You only need to let it pass, because this is how your mind learns a new pattern, not through struggle, but through allowing thoughts to come and allowing them to go, without resistance, without attachment, and slowly something remarkable begins to happen. The space between thoughts becomes longer. The silence between mental activity becomes more noticeable, and that silence begins to feel comforting, familiar, safe, as if your mind is remembering something it always knew, but forgot under stress. Now bring your awareness gently back to your breathing. Notice how naturally it is flowing. No effort needed, no control required. Just breath moving in and moving out. And with every exhale, your mind becomes a little quieter, a little softer, a little more distant from the noise of the day. And as your breathing continues to slow, your subconscious mind begins doing something even deeper. It starts filtering emotional weight, letting go of unnecessary mental tension, releasing patterns of overthinking that are no longer needed, because your mind does not want to stay in stress forever. It wants balance, it wants clarity, it wants rest. And tonight, you are giving it exactly that. So now imagine that every breath you take is gently rewriting your inner state. Breathing in calmness, you are reinforcing safety. Breathing out tension, you are releasing old mental pressure. Breathing in peace, you are allowing relaxation to spread deeper. Breathing out worry, you are letting go of emotional weight, and slowly your entire system begins syncing with this new rhythm, a slower rhythm, a calmer rhythm, a healing rhythm. Now your thoughts no longer feel urgent. They begin to fade into background noise, and your awareness starts drifting further away from mental activity, closer to stillness, closer to silence, closer to sleep. And in this silence, something powerful is happening. Your mind is no longer reacting. It is no longer analyzing. It is no longer preparing for every possibility. Instead, it is learning how to simply exist without pressure. And that is where true healing begins. Because a calm mind is not empty. It is balanced, it is regulated, it is safe. And your body responds to that safety immediately. Your muscles relax deeper. Your chest softens further. Your breathing becomes even slower. Your heartbeat steadies into calm rhythm. Everything inside you begins aligning with rest. And now, even your sense of time begins to soften. Minutes feel slower, thoughts feel farther apart, awareness becomes more dreamlike, as if you are slowly drifting through soft fog. And in that fog, nothing is required from you anymore. No decisions, no thinking, no holding on, just drifting, just resting, just being. And as you remain here, your subconscious continues absorbing this peaceful state, strengthening it, stabilizing it, reinforcing it deeper within your system, so that even after you wake up, a part of this calmness stays with you, a quiet foundation of peace beneath everything you do. And now, sleep is becoming very close, very natural, very effortless. Your awareness is fading gently. Your thoughts are dissolving, your body is fully relaxed, and your mind is finally learning what it means to be truly at peace. So continue drifting, continue softening, continue letting go, because nothing else is required now, only rest, only peace, only sleep. And now, as your body settles even deeper into this calm stillness, something subtle begins to unfold within your mind. Not loudly, not suddenly, but quietly, beneath awareness, like a soft shift in the background of your thoughts. Because your mind is always learning, even when you are not trying to teach it anything. Even now, as you rest, as you breathe, as you drift closer to sleep, your subconscious is still listening, and it is always recording patterns, patterns of stress, patterns of overthinking, patterns of emotional reactions, patterns of how you respond to life. But tonight, something different is happening. Tonight, those patterns are beginning to soften, not through force, not through control, but through repetition of calmness, through stillness, through safety. And as you continue lying here, you may notice that your thoughts are no longer holding the same intensity they had earlier. They are still there, but quieter, less sharp, less urgent, as if they are slowly losing their emotional weight. And that is because your nervous system is no longer in survival mode. It is beginning to shift into restoration mode, a slower mode, a healing mode, a peaceful mode. And in this state, your subconscious mind becomes more open to new internal suggestions, not spoken loudly, but felt deeply. And the most powerful suggestion your mind can receive right now is simple. You are safe. You can rest. You do not need to overthink right now. And as these gentle ideas pass through your awareness, they begin to sink deeper than logic, because the subconscious mind does not argue. It absorbs, and so every calm breath you take becomes a signal that tells your brain, it is okay to slow down now. And every slow exhale becomes another message, a message that says, you can let go a little more. And with each repetition of this cycle, something inside you begins to reorganize itself. Thought patterns that were once repetitive begin to weaken. Mental loops that once felt automatic begin to slow. Emotional reactions that once felt immediate begin to soften, not because you are trying to change them, but because your internal state is changing first. And when the state changes, the patterns naturally follow. So now, imagine your mind like a vast night sky, and every thought that appears is like a small light in that sky. Some thoughts shine briefly, some flicker and fade, some drift slowly and disappear into the distance. And you are not the thoughts, you are the sky itself, wide, open, still, unchanging. And from this place of awareness, you begin to notice something important. You are no longer inside every thought, you are observing them, and that small shift, that subtle distance, creates something powerful. Space between you and stress, space between you and worry, space between you and emotional intensity, and in that space, peace begins to grow naturally. Now gently bring your attention back to your breath, not controlling it, just noticing it. And as you notice it, you may find it has already slowed on its own, because the breath always mirrors the nervous system, and your nervous system is beginning to soften now. With every inhale, your body receives calmness. With every exhale, your body releases tension. And this rhythm, this natural cycle, begins to retrain your entire system, teaching it a new response. Instead of tension, relaxation. Instead of urgency, stillness. Instead of overthinking, presence. And slowly, your mind begins accepting this new pattern, not as an idea, but as a felt experience. And that is where real reprogramming happens, not in effort, but in state. So now, you may notice your body feeling heavier, not in a negative way, but in a deeply restful way, as if gravity itself is gently inviting you to let go completely. Your shoulders soften. Your jaw releases. Your chest becomes easier to breathe through. Your stomach relaxes. Your entire system begins settling downward into comfort, and as your body relaxes, your thoughts naturally begin to slow even more. They no longer feel like separate streams of information. They begin blending together, fading into background silence, and in that silence, something very important is happening. Your mind is no longer feeding stress patterns. It is no longer reinforcing worry loops. It is no longer strengthening overthinking cycles. Instead, it is stepping out of them, and in doing so, it is creating new neural space, space for calmness, space for balance, space for emotional recovery. And that recovery is already happening now, even if you are not actively thinking about it, because healing does not require attention. Healing requires relaxation. So now, allow yourself to go even deeper. You do not need to hold on to awareness tightly. You can loosen your focus. Let your mind drift in and out of this voice. Let your body sink further into the surface beneath you. Let your breathing guide you without interference. And as you do, you may begin to feel a gentle floating sensation, as if your body is no longer fully anchored, as if you are drifting somewhere between wakefulness and sleep. And that is exactly where deep reprogramming occurs, because in this state, the conscious mind becomes quiet, and the subconscious mind becomes receptive, open, soft, impressionable. So now, imagine that every peaceful word you hear is gently washing through your mind like warm, calm water, cleaning away mental tension, smoothing emotional rough edges, softening old stress responses and replacing them with calm stability. And you do not need to do anything. Your mind is doing it naturally, effortlessly, safely, and with every passing moment, your internal world becomes quieter, more peaceful, more balanced, and more ready for sleep. Now even the idea of thinking feels distant, like something happening far away, and your awareness begins to rest more in sensation than thought, the feeling of the bed, the rhythm of breathing, the softness of your body, the quiet darkness around you, everything becoming one continuous experience of calm. And in this calm, your nervous system finally begins to reset, not partially, but deeply, as stress signals decrease, as emotional load reduces, as mental activity slows. Your entire system begins returning to its natural state, a state of rest, a state of healing, a state of balance. And now, even your identity as someone who is thinking begins to fade slightly, not disappearing, just softening, becoming less defined, more peaceful, more spacious. And in that spaciousness, sleep begins approaching closer, not as something you chase, as something that gently arrives, like a soft wave pulling you inward. And as that wave deepens, your mind becomes quieter still, your body becomes heavier still, your awareness becomes softer still, until everything begins blending into one peaceful experience. Breath, stillness, darkness, rest. And now, there is nothing left to hold, nothing left to analyze, nothing left to resist, only drifting, only sinking, only letting go. Because you are no longer trying to sleep. You are allowing sleep to take you. And that is exactly how deep healing sleep begins. And now, as you continue resting in this soft, quiet state, something very gentle begins to happen inside you. A subtle unwinding, a quiet release, as if the day itself is slowly beginning to loosen its grip on your mind, because everything you experience today, every conversation, every moment of stress, every thought you carried, every emotion you pushed aside just to keep moving forward, all of it has been held somewhere inside you, not as a burden you chose, but as a natural response of being human. And now, in this moment of stillness, your mind no longer needs to carry all of that forward. You are allowed to set it down, gently, without effort. So take a slow breath in, and as you exhale, imagine the weight of the entire day beginning to soften, just a little, just enough, very gently, and again, breathing in calmness, and breathing out everything that happened today, breathing in stillness, and breathing out the need to hold on to it all, because you do not need to process everything right now. You do not need to revisit every moment. You do not need to solve anything tonight. Right now, your only job is to rest. And as that thought settles into your mind, something begins to shift in your body. A subtle sense of permission to stop holding, permission to stop replaying, permission to stop carrying. And as soon as your nervous system feels that permission, it begins to respond. Shoulders soften slightly, your chest becomes lighter, your breathing becomes slower, as if your body itself understands. It is okay now, I can release. And that release does not happen all at once. It happens in waves, soft waves of relaxation moving through you, each wave carrying away a little more tension, a little more mental noise, a little more emotional residue from the day. And with each wave, you feel yourself drifting deeper, not away from yourself, but away from the heaviness. Now imagine that everything that happened today is like small pieces of energy stored gently in your awareness. Moments of stress, moments of pressure, moments of overthinking, moments where your mind had to work too hard. And now, imagine each of those moments slowly dissolving, like sand being washed away by calm water. Not erased, not denied, just released from your body's need to carry it anymore. And as this happens, you may notice something subtle. Your mind begins to feel less crowded, less tight, less full, as if space is opening inside your thoughts, space that was not there earlier. And in that space, something very important begins to appear. Stillness, not empty stillness, but peaceful stillness, the kind that feels safe, the kind that feels natural, the kind your nervous system has been waiting for all day. So now, allow your awareness to rest gently in your breathing again. Notice how it moves without effort, in and out, slow, steady, natural. And with each exhale, your body releases a little more of the day. Stress is not something you fight. It is something your body releases when it feels safe enough to stop holding it. Right now, you are safe. There is nothing to respond to, nothing to prepare for, nothing to fix. Only this moment, only this breath, only this softness spreading through your system. And as you continue resting here, your mind begins to slow even more. Thoughts that once felt important begin losing their intensity. Ideas that once felt urgent begin drifting away. And mental patterns that normally repeat throughout the day begin to quiet down, because they are no longer being fueled by stress energy. They are simply fading, naturally, gently, like lights slowly turning off in a quiet house at night, one by one, until only silence remains. And in that silence, your nervous system begins to recalibrate, resetting itself, returning to balance, returning to calm regulation, because your body knows how to heal when given space. It knows how to release when not pressured. It knows how to restore when allowed to rest deeply. And now, it is finally being given that chance. So allow yourself to drift even further. Let your body become heavier. Let your mind become softer. Let your awareness become more distant. And as you do, Imagine yourself slowly sinking into a warm, calm surface beneath you, like soft water that supports every part of your body without effort. No tension required, no holding needed, just complete support. And as you sink deeper into that support, something inside you begins to relax at a deeper level. Not just muscles, not just thoughts, but emotional residue. The subtle emotional weight from the day begins to dissolve without needing to be analyzed, without needing to be understood, just released. And you may notice, the more you allow this release, the lighter you begin to feel, not physically lighter, but mentally lighter, emotionally lighter, as if your inner world is becoming less dense, more open, more spacious, and in that spaciousness, peace begins to grow naturally. Now your breathing feels almost like it is happening on its own. No control, no effort, just gentle rhythm. And with every breath, your body moves deeper into rest, your mind moves deeper into silence, and your awareness moves closer to sleep. And sleep does not need to be forced. It arrives when resistance fades, when effort dissolves, when everything becomes simple again, breathing, resting, letting go. And now, even your sense of time begins to soften. Moments feel slower, thoughts feel farther apart. Awareness becomes dreamlike, as if you are drifting through a calm, invisible current pulling you gently inward toward deeper rest, toward deeper stillness, toward complete relaxation. And there is nothing you need to do to stay here. In fact, doing less is what takes you deeper. So allow everything to slow even more. Let your thoughts fade into background softness. Let your body sink further into comfort. Let your breathing guide you without interruption, because you are now entering a deeper stage of rest, where the mind no longer needs to organize anything, where the body no longer needs to hold anything, where everything simply exists in quiet balance. And in that balance, healing continues quietly underneath awareness, restoring your nervous system, resetting emotional load, releasing mental tension, preparing your entire being for deep sleep. So now, continue drifting, continue softening, continue letting go, because nothing else is needed. Only this calm descent, only this gentle fading, only this peaceful surrender into sleep. And now, as your body continues to relax even more deeply, something subtle begins to happen beneath the surface of your awareness, a quiet transition from conscious thinking into deeper subconscious rest. You may not notice it all at once, because it does not happen suddenly. It happens slowly, like a gentle sinking feeling, pulling you deeper and deeper into calmness. And with every passing moment, your awareness becomes softer, less focused, more relaxed, more distant from the surface of thinking. And that is perfectly natural, because your mind is no longer meant to stay in active mode right now. It is beginning to shift into restorative mode. So now, you do not need to analyze anything. You do not need to observe closely. You do not need to stay fully alert. You can simply allow yourself to drift very gently, very safely, very deeply. And as you drift, notice how your breathing continues on its own, in and out, slow, steady, natural, each breath carrying you deeper into relaxation, each exhale releasing a little more mental tension, a little more emotional weight, a little more awareness of the outside world. And now your attention begins to feel softer, like it is no longer holding on to one fixed point. Instead, it moves gently, loosely, without effort, and that is a sign that your mind is entering a deeper state, a state where thinking becomes secondary and being becomes primary. So now imagine yourself slowly sinking into a calm, warm darkness, not empty darkness, but peaceful darkness, comforting darkness, the kind of darkness that does not feel unknown, but feels safe, familiar, restful. And as you sink into this darkness, your thoughts begin to lose structure. They no longer form complete ideas. They appear briefly and fade, like soft echoes in a distant space, and you are no longer following them closely. You are simply letting them pass. And this is where something very important begins to happen. Your subconscious mind starts becoming more active than your conscious mind, not in a thinking way, but in a healing way, a reorganizing way, a restoring way. Because when the conscious mind becomes quiet, the subconscious mind begins its natural work, releasing stored stress, balancing emotional energy, resetting internal rhythm, and you do not need to guide any of it. Your body already knows exactly what to do. So now, allow yourself to go even deeper. Let your body feel heavier. Let your awareness become softer. Let your thoughts drift farther away. And as you do, imagine that every part of your body is slowly being gently lowered, like a feather descending through still air. No resistance, no effort, just drifting downward. And with each layer of drifting, your internal world becomes quieter, the mental noise reduces, the emotional pressure fades, the sense of urgency disappears, and in its place, calmness begins to grow, a deep, steady calmness, the kind that does not come and go quickly, but settles in slowly and stays. Now imagine your nervous system gently shifting like a slow wave moving through water. First it reaches your head, softening thoughts, calming mental activity. Then it moves through your face, relaxing tiny muscles you did not even realize were tense. Then your neck and shoulders, releasing layers of accumulated stress. Then your chest, slowing your breathing naturally. Then your stomach, letting go of internal tightness. Then your arms and hands, becoming heavy and still. Then your legs and feet, sinking deeper into complete relaxation. And with this wave, your entire body begins to feel unified, one continuous flow of calmness, one continuous state of ease. And now even your sense of identity begins to soften. The idea of thinking becomes distant. The idea of doing becomes unimportant. The idea of being awake begins to fade gently, and in its place something very peaceful emerges. Stillness, pure stillness, not forced stillness, but natural stillness, like a lake with no wind, perfectly calm, perfectly steady. And in this stillness, your subconscious mind continues its quiet work, releasing old mental impressions, clearing emotional residue from the day, reorganizing stress responses, restoring balance in the nervous system. And all of this happens without effort, because your body is designed for this, your mind is designed for this, your sleep is designed for this. So now, there is nothing you need to hold on to anymore. No thought is important enough to follow. No sensation needs attention. No idea needs analysis. Everything can simply pass. And as everything passes, your awareness becomes even more peaceful, even more distant, even more dreamlike. And now you may begin to notice small gaps between thoughts, tiny spaces of silence, moments where nothing appears. And those moments begin to expand, slowly, naturally, until silence becomes more present than thinking. And in that silence, something very soothing begins to grow. A sense of safety, a sense of comfort, a sense of being completely okay just as you are. No pressure, no expectation, no effort required. Just rest. And as you settle into that feeling, your body responds immediately. Muscles relax even further. Breathing slows even more. Heartbeat becomes steadier. Everything aligning toward deep rest. And now even the boundary between awareness and sleep begins to blur. You are not fully awake, but not fully asleep either. You are in the in-between space where healing is strongest, where the mind resets itself most deeply, where emotional weight naturally dissolves. So continue drifting, continue softening, Continue letting go, because nothing else is needed now. Only this gentle descent, only this peaceful surrender, only this movement into deeper and deeper rest. And as you drift further, sleep begins to wrap around you softly, not suddenly, but gently, like a warm, quiet wave pulling you inward. And you no longer resist it. You allow it because it feels natural, because it feels safe, because it feels right. And as sleep comes closer, everything becomes quieter, everything becomes softer, everything becomes still, until only peace remains. And now, as you continue resting in this deeper and quieter state, something very important begins happening inside your body, not something you need to do, not something you need to control, but something your body has been waiting for all day to begin on its own. A reset, a gentle, natural nervous system reset, because throughout the day, your nervous system responds to everything: stress, pressure, urgency, thoughts, emotions, responsibilities. It constantly shifts between alertness and tension, trying to keep you safe, trying to help you manage life, trying to prepare for what comes next. And over time, this constant readiness creates internal fatigue, not just physical fatigue, but deep nervous system fatigue. And now, in this moment of stillness, your system finally has permission to stop preparing, to stop bracing, to stop holding, and to begin releasing. So now, you do not need to focus on anything. You do not need to guide anything. You do not need to understand anything. You can simply allow your body to reset itself very naturally, very safely, very deeply. And as you continue breathing slowly, notice how your breath is already softer than before, longer exhalations, heavier pauses, gentle rhythm, as if your entire system is slowing down at its own perfect pace. And that slowing down is not random. It is your nervous system shifting from survival mode into restoration mode, a state where healing becomes the priority. So now imagine a wave of deep calm beginning at the top of your head, a slow wave, a steady wave, a peaceful wave of relaxation. And as it moves downward, something begins to release. In your forehead, tension softens. In your eyes, pressure dissolves. In your jaw, tightness lets go. In your neck, holding begins to fade. In your shoulders, the weight of the day starts to drop away. And as this wave continues moving, it reaches your chest, and here something very subtle happens. Emotional tension begins to loosen, not through thinking, but through safety, because emotions stored in the body only release when the body feels safe enough to let them go. And right now, your system is finally beginning to feel that safety. So old emotional residue from the day, stress you did not fully process, feelings you had to suppress just to keep going, all of it begins softening, not suddenly, but gently, like ice slowly melting in warm light. And as that emotional tension dissolves, your breathing becomes even smoother, even quieter, even more effortless. Now the wave continues downward, through your stomach, where internal pressure begins to release, through your lower back, where deep physical tension softens, through your hips and legs, where heaviness turns into deep relaxation, until your entire body becomes one unified field of calm, not separate parts, but one continuous state of ease. And in that ease, something very important happens inside your mind. Thoughts begin to lose their emotional charge. The same thoughts that once felt heavy earlier today now feel distant, less important, less urgent, as if they belong to another time, another version of you. And that emotional distance is powerful because it means your nervous system is no longer reacting to those thoughts. It is simply observing them pass. And as observation replaces reaction, peace begins to grow naturally. So now, imagine your mind as a wide open sky at night, and every thought is like a small light appearing briefly, then fading. No attachment, no resistance, just passing movement, and you are the sky itself, not affected by what passes through it, only aware, only present, only still. And as you rest in that awareness, your subconscious mind begins doing something very important. It begins reorganizing emotional memory, not erasing it, not suppressing it, but calming it, softening it, detaching it from stress response. So memories that once felt emotionally heavy begin losing intensity, becoming neutral, becoming quieter, and that is healing happening at a deep level, without effort, without conscious involvement. Just your body doing what it naturally knows how to do when it feels safe. Now your breathing deepens again. Slow inhale, long gentle exhale, as if every breath is washing your nervous system clean, releasing chemical tension, releasing emotional buildup, releasing mental overstimulation, and with each cycle, your system becomes more balanced, more regulated, more peaceful. Now even your sense of time begins to shift, the urgency of minutes disappears, the pressure of tomorrow fades, the importance of thinking dissolves, and you begin to exist more in sensation than in thought, in softness, in stillness, in calm awareness. And that awareness is becoming quieter now, less defined, more fluid, as if you are drifting deeper into yourself, layer by layer, level by level. And now there is a very gentle sense of floating, as if your body is no longer fully anchored, as if gravity has softened slightly, and you are being held by something larger than yourself, a quiet field of rest, a safe inner space, a deep internal calm. And in this space, nothing is required from you, no decision, no effort, no control, only surrender, only release, only drifting deeper. And as you continue drifting, the nervous system continues its reset, stress responses quiet down, fight or flight signals reduce, muscle guarding releases, internal systems stabilize, and your entire body begins returning to its natural baseline, a baseline of calm, a baseline of balance, a baseline of rest. And now even the idea of trying begins to fade, because there is nothing left to try for, nothing left to fix, nothing left to process. Everything is already being handled by your body, and your only role now is to rest. So continue allowing yourself to sink deeper, quieter, slower, because sleep is already approaching, not as something distant, but as something gently surrounding you, wrapping around your awareness, softly pulling you inward. And as you move with that pull, your thoughts become fewer, your awareness becomes softer, your body becomes heavier, until everything begins blending into one peaceful experience. Breath, stillness, darkness, rest. And in that rest, your nervous system completes another layer of its reset, bringing you closer and closer to deep uninterrupted sleep, where healing continues silently, and your entire being finally gets to recover fully. And now, as your body continues to sink even deeper into this peaceful state, something very subtle begins to shift again, not in your outer world, but in your inner rhythm, a transition from surface relaxation into deeper brainwave calm, because right now, your mind is no longer operating in the busy waking state. It is beginning to slow down softly, gradually, naturally, into a deeper level of rest. A state often described as theta calm, where thinking becomes lighter, slower, more dreamlike, and you do not need to understand this scientifically. You only need to experience it. So now, allow yourself to drift very gently, very safely, very deeply. And as you drift, notice how your awareness is becoming less fixed, less focused, more fluid, as if your attention is no longer holding onto anything tightly, and that loosening is important, because deep rest does not come from control, it comes from release. So now, take a slow breath in, and as you exhale, imagine your mind gently sinking downward, like soft sand slowly settling in still water. No resistance, no effort, just sinking. And again, breathing in calmness and breathing out mental activity, breathing in stillness and breathing out the need to think. And now something beautiful begins to happen. Your thoughts start spacing themselves out, not disappearing, just becoming farther apart, like distant echoes fading into silence. And in between those thoughts, you begin to notice something new: space, quiet space, peaceful space, a space where nothing needs to happen. And that space is where your nervous system begins to reset at a deeper level. Because when thinking slows, the brain shifts into restoration mode. When mental activity decreases, emotional processing becomes more balanced. When awareness softens, the body begins healing itself more efficiently. And all of this is happening now, without effort, without direction, just naturally unfolding inside you. So now imagine your entire mind as a wide open night sky, and every thought that appears is like a small star, briefly shining, then fading into darkness. And you are not following any of them closely. You are simply observing from a distance with calm awareness. And the more you observe without attachment, the lighter your mind becomes, because attention is energy, and you are gently withdrawing energy from stress-based thinking and placing it into stillness instead. Now notice your breathing again. It has become slower, softer, more automatic, as if your body is breathing itself now. And with each breath, your system moves deeper into calm regulation. The nervous system begins to settle, the heart rhythm becomes steadier, the muscles release more tension, and your entire body starts entering a deeper restorative state. Now imagine a slow, gentle wave moving through your entire being, starting at the top of your head and flowing downward, relaxing everything it touches. Your scalp softens, your forehead smooths, your eyes grow heavier, your jaw loosens completely, your neck relaxes deeply, your shoulders drop further, your chest opens softly, your stomach becomes calm and quiet, your arms feel weightless, your legs sink into stillness, and now your whole body feels unified as one continuous field of deep relaxation. And in this unified stillness, your subconscious mind becomes more active, not in a thinking way, but in a healing way, a reorganizing way, a quiet balancing way, where emotional tension stored during the day begins to dissolve, where mental impressions begin to fade, where stress responses begin to reset, and you do not need to guide any of it. Your body already knows exactly how to do it. So now, allow yourself to go even deeper. Let your awareness soften further. Let your thoughts drift further away. Let your body become heavier. And as you do, you may notice something very subtle happening. The boundary between waking and sleep is beginning to blur. You are no longer fully alert, but not yet asleep. You are in a transitional state, a soft in-between space where healing is most active, where the mind is most receptive, where the body is most relaxed. And in this space, everything becomes easier. Breathing becomes easier. Letting go becomes easier. Rest becomes easier. Now imagine yourself slowly descending into a warm, calm darkness. not empty darkness, but deeply comforting darkness, like being wrapped in peaceful silence. And as you descend, your thoughts continue fading, not through effort, but through distance. They feel farther away now, less important, less defined, more like gentle impressions passing through awareness, and in their place, silence grows stronger, not heavy silence, but soft silence, comfortable silence, healing silence. And your nervous system responds immediately to this silence, because silence is safety for the brain, silence is recovery for the body, silence is restoration for the mind. So now your entire system begins stabilizing, stress chemicals begin decreasing, muscle tension continues releasing, breathing deepens further, and your body enters deeper parasympathetic calm. Now even your sense of identity begins to soften slightly. The idea of thinking feels distant. The idea of doing feels unnecessary. The idea of controlling begins to fade, and in its place, something very peaceful emerges. Just being, just resting, just existing in calm awareness. And that awareness itself is becoming softer, more dreamlike, less defined, as if you are slowly dissolving into peaceful space. And now sleep is very close. You can feel it in your heaviness, in your slowing breath, in your fading thoughts, in your quiet mind. And there is nothing left to resist, because sleep is not something you enter by force. Sleep is something you fall into when everything else lets go, and you are letting go now, beautifully, naturally, completely. So continue drifting, continue softening, continue sinking deeper into this calm, theta-like state, because nothing else is needed, only rest, only peace, only gentle surrender into sleep. And now, as you continue drifting deeper and deeper into this calm and quiet state, something very important begins to happen within your awareness, a gentle softening, not just of the body, not just of the breath, but of control itself. Because throughout the day, your mind stays in a state of subtle control, controlling thoughts, controlling decisions, controlling reactions, controlling awareness, even when you are not aware of it. A part of your mind is always trying to manage everything, but now, in this deeply relaxed state, that need for control begins to loosen, slowly, softly, naturally, like something heavy being gently set down after a long journey. And you may not even notice the exact moment it begins, because it does not happen suddenly. It happens in layers, in waves, in quiet transitions. So now, you do not need to try to relax. You do not need to control relaxation. You do not need to guide anything at all. You can simply allow control to fade, very gently, very safely, very deeply. And as that happens, your breathing continues flowing on its own, in and out, slow, steady, effortless, each breath reminding your nervous system that it no longer needs to stay alert, each exhale signaling that it is safe to let go a little more. And now something subtle begins to change in your mind. The part of you that usually stays in charge begins stepping back, not disappearing, just stepping back like a soft dimming of mental brightness. And in that dimming, something new begins to emerge. A quieter awareness, a more spacious awareness, a more passive, peaceful form of noticing, where thoughts no longer feel like instructions. They feel like distant movement, like clouds passing slowly through a vast open sky, and you are no longer holding on to them. You are simply watching them fade. And as you continue observing in this soft way, your subconscious mind becomes more active, not in a thinking way, but in a balancing way, a restoring way, a healing way. Because when conscious control reduces, Deeper systems within you begin to organize themselves naturally. Stress responses begin to settle. Emotional tension begins to unwind. Mental patterns begin to soften. And your entire system begins returning to its natural state of equilibrium. So now, imagine yourself gently floating in a deep, calm space. No gravity, no pressure, no need to move, just floating, like a soft presence suspended in quiet darkness. And as you float, you begin to notice something very peaceful. You are no longer pushing against anything, no longer resisting anything, no longer holding anything tightly. Everything is becoming easier, everything is becoming softer, everything is becoming quieter. And in that quietness, your awareness begins to drift further away from thinking, as if thinking itself is moving into the distance, becoming less relevant, less structured, less important, and in its place, stillness grows, a deep, expanding stillness, the kind that does not need explanation, the kind that simply feels like home to the nervous system. Now imagine that every layer of control inside your mind is slowly dissolving. First, the control over thoughts, then the control over emotions, then the control over awareness itself. And as each layer dissolves, you become lighter, not physically, but mentally, emotionally, energetically, as if something inside you is slowly being unburdened, and that unburdening creates space, space for calmness, space for softness, space for deep rest. And now, even the idea of effort begins to fade, because effort belongs to the waking mind, and you are moving beyond that now into a quieter state, a softer state, a state where everything simply is, no direction needed, no control required, just being, just drifting, just resting. And now your body begins responding even more deeply. Muscles that were holding subtle tension begin releasing further. Your jaw softens completely. Your shoulders drop more heavily. Your chest expands with slow, effortless breathing. Your stomach relaxes fully. Your legs sink deeper into stillness, and your entire body begins feeling like it is being gently supported by something larger than itself, a field of calm, a field of rest, a field of quiet safety. And in that safety, your nervous system continues its descent into deep relaxation, not rushing, not forcing, just unfolding naturally, like a slow tide pulling everything inward. Now your thoughts become even more distant. They no longer form clear structures. They become fragments, fading impressions, soft echoes, and between those echoes, silence expands. A gentle, spacious silence, one that feels deeply calming. Because silence is where your mind begins to repair itself. Silence is where emotional processing stabilizes. Silence is where the brain resets its rhythm. So now, allow yourself to rest even more deeply in that silence. No need to follow anything, no need to analyze anything, just drifting, just soft awareness, just letting go. And as you let go, something very beautiful begins to happen. The boundary between you and rest begins to dissolve. You are no longer separate from relaxation. You are becoming relaxation itself. Slow, soft, quiet, and in this state, sleep begins to move closer. Not as something you chase, but as something that gently arrives, wrapping around your awareness like warm stillness, pulling you deeper, softer, further inward. And now there is nothing left to hold on to, nothing left to manage, nothing left to control, only surrender, only softness, only deep, peaceful letting go. And as you continue surrendering, your entire system moves closer and closer to deep restorative sleep, where conscious awareness fades gently and the subconscious mind continues its quiet healing work. in complete stillness. And now, as you continue drifting deeper into this calm and quiet state, something very subtle begins to happen within your awareness. A soft shift, a gentle transformation, where thinking begins to lose its structure entirely, not suddenly, not dramatically, but slowly, almost unnoticeably, like a light dimming in a quiet room, like ripples in water slowly becoming still, because your mind is no longer being activated by effort, no longer being driven by urgency, no longer being pulled by thought after thought. Instead, it is beginning to enter a different mode, a softer mode, a quieter mode, a more weightless state of awareness. So now, you do not need to follow your thoughts. You do not need to analyze them. You do not need to control them. You can simply allow them to drift, very gently, very safely, very far away. And as you allow this, something begins to change in your mental experience. Thoughts no longer feel like structured sentences. They become fragments, fading impressions, soft echoes that appear and dissolve before they can fully form. And between those fading impressions, something new begins to appear. Space, wide, open, quiet space. A space where nothing is required. A space where nothing is demanded. A space where your mind can finally rest without interruption. And in that space, your awareness begins to soften even further, as if it is no longer fixed in one place, no longer locked into one identity, but gently spreading out, becoming more fluid, more weightless. And now, imagine your mind like a vast open sky at night, completely still, completely silent. And every thought that appears is like a tiny spark of light, flickering briefly, then fading away. And you are not reaching for any of them, not holding on to any of them, not following any of them. You are simply allowing them to appear and disappear on their own. And this non-interference is important, because the moment you stop engaging with thoughts, they begin to lose energy. And when thoughts lose energy, they lose influence. And when they lose influence, they begin to fade naturally. So now your mind is becoming less reactive, less involved, less engaged, and more observant, like watching distant clouds pass through an endless sky. And as this observing state deepens, something very peaceful begins to emerge, a feeling of weightlessness, not physical weightlessness, but mental weightlessness, as if the mind itself is no longer carrying anything, no longer holding anything, no longer attached to anything. And in that state, your nervous system begins to respond deeply, because a weightless mind signals safety to the body, and safety allows full relaxation. So now your breathing becomes even softer. Longer exhalations begin to appear naturally, without effort, without control, just gentle rhythm in and out, slow, steady, effortless, and with each breath your system moves deeper into rest. Your muscles release even more tension, your chest becomes quieter, your stomach becomes softer, your limbs feel heavier and more still, and your entire body begins to feel like it is slowly sinking into a calm, supportive surface, not resisting, not holding, just letting go completely. And as your body relaxes, your mind continues to drift further away from structured thinking. You may notice now that it is harder to hold on to complete thoughts. They dissolve too quickly. They fade before they finish forming. And that is a natural sign of deepening relaxation. Because the thinking mind cannot maintain structure in this state. It begins to soften, to fragment, to fade, and in its place, awareness becomes more passive, more open, more dreamlike. And now you may begin to feel as if you are floating, not moving in any direction, just floating in a vast calm space, where nothing pulls you, nothing demands from you, nothing requires your attention. And in this floating sensation, something very important is happening. Your nervous system is entering deeper parasympathetic regulation. Stress signals are decreasing. Internal alertness is reducing. Emotional processing is stabilizing. And your body is entering a state designed for healing and restoration. So now, imagine that every layer of mental activity is gently peeling away, like soft layers of fog dissolving in early morning light. First layer, conscious thinking begins to fade. Second layer, emotional interpretation softens. Third layer, identity-based awareness becomes less defined. And beneath all of that, something very quiet remains. Pure awareness, soft presence, stillness. And that stillness is not empty. It is deeply restful, deeply safe, deeply calming. Now your sense of time begins to blur. Moments feel slower. Awareness becomes less linear. And your experience begins to feel more continuous, more fluid, more dreamlike, as if you are slowly slipping into the edge of sleep itself. And there is nothing to resist, because sleep is not something you enter through effort. It is something you fall into when resistance disappears. So now, allow yourself to let go even more. Let your awareness drift further back. Let your thoughts fade further into distance. Let your body sink further into stillness, because you are now moving deeper into the sleep state, where the mind no longer needs to organize anything, where the body no longer needs to protect anything, where everything simply becomes quiet presence. And in that presence, healing continues automatically, silently, effortlessly, restoring balance, restoring calm, restoring deep inner stability. And now even the boundary between you and rest begins to dissolve. You are not entering sleep, you are becoming sleep. Slow, soft, weightless. And as this continues, everything gently fades. Thoughts fade, sensations fade, awareness fades, until only deep peaceful stillness remains. And in that stillness, your entire system prepares for full sleep, where restoration continues beneath awareness, and your mind finally gets the rest it has been moving toward all along. And now, as you continue drifting even deeper into this quiet, weightless state, something very final begins to happen within your entire system. A deeper level of surrender. Not emotional surrender, not mental surrender, but full nervous system surrender, the kind of surrender where the body is no longer holding anything back. No tension, no alertness, no subtle readiness, just pure letting go. And this does not happen suddenly. It happens slowly, layer by layer, like a soft wave moving through every part of you. So now, you do not need to try to relax. You do not need to guide relaxation. You do not need to maintain awareness, because even that effort is no longer needed. You can simply allow everything to soften, very gently, very safely, very completely. And as you allow that, your breathing continues on its own, slow, natural, effortless. Each inhale bringing in calm stability, each exhale releasing the last remaining traces of tension. And now, something very subtle begins to shift inside your nervous system. It is no longer scanning for anything, no longer preparing for anything, no longer holding on to anything. It is beginning to recognize that it is safe, completely safe, and when the nervous system feels safe, it does something remarkable. It stops protecting, it stops bracing, it stops maintaining alertness, and it begins to release everything it was holding. So now imagine a gentle wave of complete relaxation moving through your entire body, starting at the very top of your head, and slowly flowing downward, not rushing, not forcing, just flowing. In your scalp, everything softens. In your forehead, all tension dissolves. In your eyes, heaviness deepens into calm stillness. In your jaw, all subtle tightness releases completely. In your neck, holding patterns begin to disappear. In your shoulders, the weight of the day finally drops away. And as this wave continues, something very important begins to happen in your chest. Your breathing becomes fully automatic. No control, no effort, just natural rhythm, as if your body is breathing itself now. And that is a sign of deep parasympathetic activation, a sign that your nervous system is entering true rest mode. Now the wave continues downward through your stomach, where emotional tension quietly dissolves, not by thinking, but by letting go, through your lower back, where deep stored stress begins to release, through your hips, where long-held tension softens, through your legs, where heaviness turns into stillness, until your entire body feels like it is no longer separate parts, but one unified field of complete relaxation. And in that unity, something very profound begins to happen. Your sense of doing begins to fade, because there is nothing left to do. Your sense of thinking begins to fade, because there is nothing left to think about. Your sense of holding on begins to fade, because there is nothing left to hold. And in that absence, something else emerges, pure rest, deep rest, the kind of rest that goes beyond physical relaxation into full nervous system restoration. Now your thoughts become extremely distant, like echoes at the far edge of awareness. You are no longer inside them, you are far beyond them, and even those echoes begin to slow, fade, disappear, until only silence remains. And in that silence, your mind is no longer organizing experience, it is no longer interpreting reality, it is no longer creating internal dialogue, it is simply resting. And that resting is not passive, it is deeply restorative, because in this state your brain begins repairing itself at a deeper level. Emotional patterns stabilize, stress pathways quiet down, mental fatigue begins to dissolve, and your system returns closer and closer to its natural baseline of calm. Now imagine yourself gently sinking deeper, like floating downward through soft darkness. No resistance, no direction, just sinking. And with each moment of sinking, awareness becomes softer, more distant, more dreamlike, until even the sense of being awake begins to fade, not suddenly, but gently, like a light slowly turning off in the background of your mind. And now you are entering the final threshold, where waking awareness no longer holds control, and sleep begins to take over completely, and there is nothing you need to do to allow this transition, because sleep is not something you enter through effort. Sleep is something you fall into when effort disappears. So now, allow everything to dissolve even further. Let thoughts fade completely. Let awareness become soft and undefined. Let your body sink fully into stillness, because you are now at the edge of deep sleep, where healing continues silently, where restoration deepens automatically, where your entire system finally rests without interruption. And as you continue drifting, everything becomes quieter, everything becomes softer, everything becomes still, until only peace remains, and even that peace begins to fade gently into sleep. And now, as you continue drifting deeper into this vast quiet space, something very subtle begins to happen. A final transition, a soft crossing from awareness into sleep, not suddenly, not sharply, but like a gentle fading, a slow dissolving of everything you were holding onto just moments ago. because now even awareness itself begins to relax. Even the part of you that was observing begins to soften. And you may notice that thoughts are becoming extremely faint now, not structured anymore, not complete, just fragments, drifting at the edge of silence. And you are no longer reaching for them, no longer following them, no longer engaging with them in any way, because there is nothing left to engage with. Only quiet, only softness, only deepening stillness. So now, you do not need to stay aware, you do not need to stay focused, you do not need to maintain anything at all. You can simply allow awareness itself to fade, very gently, very safely, very naturally. And as that happens, your breathing continues effortlessly, slow, steady, almost invisible, as if your body is breathing on its own now, without instruction, without direction, and each breath is carrying you closer to sleep, not as a destination, but as a return to stillness, a return to silence, a return to deep natural rest. Now imagine yourself at the very edge of a calm, quiet shoreline at night. The water is still, the air is soft, everything is motionless, and you are standing right at the edge, not stepping forward, not stepping back, just gently present, and then slowly, without effort, you begin to sink, not into water, but into softness itself, a softness that supports you completely, a softness that removes all effort from your body. And as you sink, something begins to dissolve. The idea of thinking begins to fade. The need to control begins to disappear. The sense of separation begins to soften. And in its place, there is only drifting, only falling, only gentle surrender. And now even your awareness feels like it is becoming lighter, less defined, less structured, more fluid, as if you are no longer inside your thoughts, but floating far above them, watching them disappear into distance. And even that watching begins to fade, because now there is less to observe, less to process, less to hold, and as everything becomes quieter, your nervous system enters its deepest state of relaxation yet, the final release, the final softening, where nothing is held anymore, not even subtle tension, not even subtle awareness. Everything begins to let go, layer by layer, until only pure rest remains. And now your body feels extremely heavy, not uncomfortable, but deeply grounded, as if gravity itself has become gentle and supportive, holding you completely, allowing every muscle to fully release, allowing every system to fully slow down. And now your mind becomes extremely quiet. Thoughts no longer form, they no longer continue, they simply dissolve before appearing fully, and in that dissolving, silence takes over completely. Not empty silence, but full silence, deep silence, restful silence, the kind of silence where sleep naturally begins to emerge. Now even the sense of you begins to soften, not disappearing abruptly, but gently fading at the edges, like a soft light dimming in a distant room. And what remains is pure experience, pure presence, pure stillness, and that stillness is becoming deeper now, wider, calmer, more complete, as if everything is slowing down to its most natural rhythm, the rhythm of sleep. And now you may notice something very important. There is nothing left to hold on to, no thought strong enough to follow, no sensation strong enough to pull attention, no need strong enough to create effort, only drifting, only sinking, only letting go. And sleep is no longer approaching. Sleep is already beginning, softly, quietly, naturally, wrapping itself around your awareness like warm darkness, pulling you gently inward, deeper, softer, until even the feeling of drifting begins to fade, and all that remains is rest, pure rest, and in that rest, your body begins full restoration, your mind begins full quiet, and your entire system enters deep sleep, where healing continues silently, without awareness, without effort, without interruption. Only peace remains, only stillness remains, only sleep remains. And now, as you continue drifting deeper, even deeper than before, something very final begins to happen, not an ending, but a complete soft release, a gentle fading of everything that has been guiding you until now, because there is nothing left to guide anymore, nothing left to follow, nothing left to hold, only drifting, only sinking, only letting go. And as you arrive here, at this deepest layer of calm, even awareness begins to feel distant, not gone, just no longer active, like a soft light slowly dimming in the background of your mind. And you may notice thoughts are no longer forming in any clear way. They are almost gone now. Not because they were forced away, but because there is no energy left to sustain them, and in that absence, something very peaceful remains. Stillness, pure stillness, the kind of stillness that feels like it has always existed. Before thoughts, before stress, before effort, now take a slow, gentle breath, and as you exhale, allow even that breath to become softer, almost invisible, because now, your body no longer needs conscious control. Everything is happening automatically, effortlessly, naturally, and as you rest here, something very important begins to complete itself inside your nervous system. Every layer of tension that remained begins to dissolve fully, not in stages now, but all at once, in gentle waves of release. Any remaining mental activity fades. Any remaining emotional residue softens, any remaining physical tension disappears, until nothing is left but pure rest. And now imagine yourself no longer lying down or listening, but simply existing as stillness itself, no identity, no effort, no direction, just calm presence dissolving into deeper calm presence. And even that presence begins to fade, softly, naturally, like mist disappearing into night. Now there is no need to stay aware, no need to stay focused, no need to stay connected to words, because the words are no longer important. They are simply carrying you now, deeper, softer, farther inward, and as you drift, something very beautiful happens. The boundary between you and sleep disappears. There is no longer a separation, no longer a transition, only merging, only falling, only becoming one with rest. And now, sleep is no longer something ahead of you. It is already here, surrounding you, holding you, carrying you deeper without effort, and your breathing continues, but it no longer belongs to you in a conscious way. It is simply happening, like waves in a distant ocean, slow, steady, endless, and every wave takes you further into healing silence. Now even the sense of time is gone. There is no next moment, no earlier moment, only now, only stillness, only sleep, and in this sleep your body begins full restoration. Every system slows into natural balance. Every signal of stress quiets completely. Every remaining tension dissolves into softness, and your mind enters deep, unconscious healing, where thoughts no longer exist, where awareness no longer operates, where only restoration continues, silently, automatically, perfectly. And now, even this voice begins to fade. Not because it stops, but because you no longer need to follow it. You are already there, already in sleep, already in peace, already in deep restoration. And as everything becomes quieter than quiet, softer than soft, deeper than deep, there is only one thing left: rest, pure rest, endless rest, healing rest. And now you can let go completely. There is nothing left to hold, nothing left to hear, nothing left to do, only sleep, only silence, only deep peaceful darkness. And you drift fully, completely, gently into deep sleep.